Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mavericks on Deck as we get set for Game 1 of the WCBL playoffs here from Athletic Park between the Medicine Hat Mavericks and the Regina Red Sox, a rematch of the 2023 first-round series that these two played, in which the Medicine Hat Mavericks were victorious in a sweep. That sweep would end up propelling them onto a finals run that year where they came up short of the Okotoks Dogs. And it's been a while since the Red Sox have had one of those kinds of runs, and they look to get back to that this year. It has been a long string of first-round exits for the Sox, and they hope that a strong regular season finally converts into a strong postseason. We'll see if any of that happens tonight and see what kind of action we get on a bit of a gloomy night here in Medicine Hat, Alberta. It was expected to be sunny, but the clouds are setting in, and I'm sure for lots of these players, the same feelings of darkness and maybe questioning a bit are also on their way. But once we get into the swing of the game, those nerves and cobwebs should shake out for both teams. My name is Truman Bartman, and unfortunately not with me for this pregame today, or the game at all today, is Wayne Slosher, who makes his way back from Minnesota. Hopefully we will get him back at some point soon here, but going to be missing Wayne tonight. He's a key part of this broadcast, and Wayne, we hope you're doing well and hope to see you soon. But let's direct our attention to what's going to be happening on the field tonight and run a quick pregame show for those out there. It is Luis Diaz on the mound for the Medicine Hat Mavericks, one of their two-star pitchers. It's been him and it's been Xander Roberts, the 1-2 punch throughout the rest of the 2025 season. And for Diaz, his strikeouts have been immaculate, but his walks might be even better. Just 7 on the entire season to 53 Ks. That is one of the best percentages in all of the WCBL. Roberts likely to get game 2 for the Mavericks, so it is going to be an uphill battle for the Sox, but they have a couple of their big names back in the lineup this time around when they face the Mavericks. Raphael Jackson slots in right field, and of course, former All-Star Justin Simard and former team MVP is back on the diamond as well tonight. The Red Sox, a hungry team who finished the regular season on a bit of a lull despite going on a short winning streak. They did have at one point it looked like they were going to drop all the way into the 4th spot, but they maintained that 3rd position, and so they get the Medicine Hat Mavericks, and we'll see how they fare with them. I would ask Wayne a couple of questions at this point usually, but I am going to address a couple of things about these two teams. It has been a while since the Regina Red Sox have claimed a title. Take it all the way back to 2012 when they completed a repeat of wins, winning in 2012 and 2011. And for the Mavericks, it has been since 2018. So a drought on both sides, and large in part due to the Okotoks Dogs and their dominance throughout their WCBL campaign the last couple of years. The only team to reach the finals that's not named the Dogs since the pandemic is the Lethbridge Bulls. So we'll see if we see a new winner this year, but it all gets started right here, and we hope you join us on this Flow Sports broadcast tonight and join us throughout the rest of the playoffs. It should be an excited ride, and we are just beginning here tonight. So stay tuned. We'll send you to a quick commercial break, and then we will be back with the starting lineups and everything else you need to know about Game 1 of the playoffs. Hello, everybody, and welcome to WCBL Baseball on Flow Sports here from Athletic Park, Alberta in Medicine Hat as Chapter 2 of the WCBL season officially gets underway tonight with Game 1 between the Medicine Hat Mavericks and the 3-seeded Regina Red Sox who come into town on the road. It's a best-of-3 series, but it all starts here. A very important Game 1 for both teams as they look to start their postseason campaigns out on the right foot. It's been a wild ride for the Mavericks in 2025, who surpassed 30 wins again this season, and for the third consecutive season clinched the second seed on the eastern side. But the only number that matters to them now is the number 6. That is the amount of wins that it takes to win a WCBL title. They'll have their eyes set on that. And for the Red Sox, their season has featured great promise, quickly turning to great disappointment with many players parting from their team, including 3 major starting pitchers in Kyle Langford, Blake Johnson, and of course, Pitcher of the Year in 2023, Colton Anderson. But the Red Sox players now have an opportunity to branch out, show themselves, and those who may not have had an opportunity before now have a chance in the spotlight. The Sox look to claim a pair of wins and sort out what has been a shaky second half. But one thing is for certain, both of these teams are well suited for the playoffs, and their quest for the Harry Hallis Memorial Trophy begins right here on a cloudy day in Medicine Hat as we get underway. My name is Truman Bartman, and not alongside me tonight, as I mentioned in the pregame show, is Wayne Slosher, who's making his way back from Minnesota at the moment. So, Wayne, going to be disappointed that you're not here tonight, and I'm sure the fans will be disappointed not to hear you. We miss you, and we hope to have you back for round number 2 if we get that far. But let's focus in on what's happening here tonight and take a look at tonight's starting lineup for the Regina Red Sox. It is a familiar batting order and a familiar face in the leadoff spot. 2025 All-Star right fielder Raphael Jackson, who didn't play here in these two teams' last 2 meetings, slots in at the 1 spot. Zaid Brannigan, a new addition over at second in the 2 spot. Matthew Fox, an all-star at short and batting third. In the cleanup spot, it is the home run derby contestant Brady Bye in the DH role. James Wright, who plays a little bit of first and plays a little bit of catcher, but he's at first tonight, is in the 5 spot. LSU Shreveport's Ian Mons in center field. Justin Samard, a former all-star at third base. Daniel Castellanos behind the plate, and Jordan Tucker, always reliable in left field. For the Mavericks, it is Jeremy Freeman Jr. leading it off, as always, for their crew. Aaron Volcano batting in the 2 spot and over at first base defensively tonight. We've seen him in the outfield this year, but boy, does he play a sharp first. Tyler Vanesti at third, Carter Roth at second base, 2 all-stars back-to-back, and then a former Gold Glover in the WCBL, Johnny Volcano, at short. In the 6th spot is his brother Adam playing in right field. Evan Morrison, who's been missing for 2 weeks, is back in the lineup, DHing in the 7th spot. Nate King is behind the plate batting 8th, and Micah Dvorak, sneaky as can be, in the 9th spot and at his neutral home in left field. And on the mound for the Medicine Hat Mavericks is one of the league's best. That is Luis Diaz, a 2025 All-Star who's got 2 wins to his name, a 3.66 ERA and 53 Ks. That's near the top of the league, and he will be a great pitcher on the mound for the Mavericks and a tough test for the Regina Red Sox as we get underway. But first, we send it down to field level for our national anthem, and then we will return with first pitch. And now let's talk a little bit more about our first matchup. I know we always introduce the umpires, but we don't have an official name on who is where, but I can tell you that Ron Shuchuk is down at third base tonight. The other two, unfamiliar as for now, as Nate King with a handshake before this game starts. And for Luis Diaz, he has been shaking heads rather early in this season. A great slider, a great fastball, a great combination that has worked well for him, well enough to get him an all-star nod, as I mentioned prior. And he's the guy that the Mavericks want on the mound. Being able to have him and Xander Roberts in back-to-back days, it's a luxury that a lot of teams can't match, and the Red Sox will do their best to try and match it here. Diaz fired up, said he wants his walkout song to be as loud as can be tonight, and for the last 2 days he's been focused on keeping things calm, not getting too high, not getting too low, but he's ready and he loves to embrace the moment. On the other end, it is the Virgin Islands native Rafael Jackson, who Diaz hasn't seen for a while, and a lot of the league hasn't seen. Jackson was in and out of the lineup for lots of the season for the Red Sox, but boy, is he a speedy player, and he's an elite bat. It'll be interesting to see how the Red Sox kick off this game with him at the helm. And for Regina, as I mentioned in the pregame and leading into this first pitch, this is a team that has not seen a lot of playoff success, and it's funny, Ryan Reed, assistant coach for the Medicine Hat Mavericks, he was out in Regina earlier this year, of course, with the Mavericks being on the road. A lady asked him at the laundromat, I believe, you know, Regina does so well in the regular season, but why are they not able to push that over to the playoffs? A large reason for that is a lot of their players don't stick around. We've seen a trend similar to that this year, but those who are here now are the only important ones for Regina, and they will look to get it done in a hostile environment at Athletic Park that continues to fill to the brim here in the stands. It is an exciting one, lots of excited bodies, and nothing better than playoff baseball in the Gas City is. Diaz will wait on Jackson to shuffle a little bit of sand down below, kick his feet in, and we are ready to go. See what Diaz has to start off the day for Jackson as he's going to take pitch number 1 for a ball, and our game is officially off and running. Just want to make a note for tonight, we will not have a pitch count or the base icons. I can only run so much up here in the broadcast booth as that one's gloved down by Aaron Volcano at first. He makes the first out, and a good way to start for the Mavericks. 1 up, 1 down for Diaz and company, but the score will still be going up and the innings will still change along with the outs, of course. We'll try my best to manage up here, but it will not be perfect. But obviously what you came here for is the game, and we will direct our attention back to there now. Checking in the second spot is Zaid Brannigan, and talked about Brannigan. He's a new player to this Regina Red Sox lineup. Now has a couple of games under his belt, so he's probably more comfortable in this environment. And he has played previously at Athletic Park, so no new scenery for him. Is this one off to a guy who's seen a lot of action at Athletic Park? Over to first, and he gets him. Johnny Volcano with a fadeaway throw, and that is out number 2 as he connects with his brother on the other end. And speak of Volcano, he's been here for 3 seasons. He's gotten lots of playoff action. But if you think back to 2023, this was a guy who had his playoffs cut short. Had to go back to school early after a successful Game 1 here at Athletic Park and never got to take the trip to the finals with the Mavs. He's looking to get back there in 2025 as Diaz is going to get this one fouled aside, and it'll be a first pitch strike for the Mavs ace. Back to mentioning about Volcano, he started his WCBL career with the Lethbridge Bulls way back in the day as an affiliate player. Played with his brother Liam on that team, and now he has Adam and Aaron, of course, on this Mavericks group with him. That Bulls team that Volcano was on ended up going to the finals. Volcano didn't play any playoff games that year, but still considered a member of that championship team. Here's Diaz looking for one more. It's going to be poked over towards second. Carter Roth makes the play, and it is 1-2-3 in the first. The Mavs on cruise control early on, and they make quick work of the Red Sox top of the order. We will be back after a quick word from Centennial Storage, and then we will see the Mavs bats go to work. Game 1 from Athletic Park. Nothing better than postseason baseball.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage, Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian. For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage.
And we are back here for the bottom of the first inning in what was a breezy top of the first. Luis Diaz gets a couple on the ground, and then, of course, the floater over to Carter Roth, and that caps a successful top of the first. And looking to do the same on the mound for the Regina Red Sox is Landon Riley, his first time ever pitching here at Athletic Park. One win on the year, a .480 ERA with 10 Ks. He hasn't pitched a whole bunch, but fortunately for the Red Sox, he played at Rogers State. A lot of big names who were Red Sox to come out of Rogers State. Of course, Blake Johnson, who we saw earlier this year, dominant for the Red Sox until he had to depart. And of course, as we mentioned off the top, Colton Anderson has been one of the best pitchers in the league over the past 2 seasons. He no longer with the team either. But can Riley find some of that Rogers State magic for himself here in the postseason? First pitch is going to be a ball to Jeremy Freeman Jr. Freeman didn't play the last 3 games of the season, but he's ready to go here, and he loves the moment. Freeman going to flail this one off over into right field, and that play is going to be made by Raphael Jackson for out number 1. So Freeman will be sat down from one All-Star to another in the outfield, and now it'll bring up Aaron Volcano playing first base tonight. A little bit of stretching to do over at first base. Of course, Johnny with a beautiful flea flicker down there, and Volcano able to hold the bag for what was out number 2 in the top of the first. Volcano, a guy who can hit the ball anywhere. He's got lots of power, and he's got a great stride around the base path as well. An underrated set of speed for the righty. Volcano settling in here against Riley. And Riley sends that one high, so it'll be 1-1 off the start. For Volcano, not only is he made for the moment, but his brothers as well. They love being in the spotlight, and they love delivering in the spotlight even more. Here comes the pitch from Riley, and it's going to be fouled back to the netting. Volcano will take a step around as he's down 1-2 here. Tyler Venesti waiting on deck, and lots to talk about with Venesti, especially in BP today. He was the talk of the town with his show that he put on. Here's Riley. Looking to put on a show here, and he wasn't able to nab the side. It'll be a 2-2 count. The one thing for the Red Sox is they don't have a lot of bodies in the pitching department. Medicine Hat will be looking to chomp at their pitching crew early, and if they can get to Riley, it might mean success to come, as that one's going to miss there for Landon. Landon back to the mound. It's a full count between him and Aaron Volcano. All 3 Volcanos in the lineup tonight, and Aaron Volcano is off to first base. So a walk to the first Volcano that Riley will see, and now he's got to deal with red-hot Tyler Venesti. Venesti, another successful campaign in which he batted over 300, made his 2nd consecutive All-Star team, and of course showed his power time and time again, not only throughout the season, but at this park. Good enough to get him selected for the Home Run Derby, where he was a home run shy of advancing. Venesti, this is the last ride for him here, and he wants to go out with a bang. Says he would love to get Greg Morrison a championship, as he's hit with strike 1 here. And Venesti, a very unselfish player, all about the team, never wants to take any of the light. He just works and finds ways to help his boys win. Venesti bat to shoulder here. Here comes the pitch from Riley, and that one going to be high. So back-to-back 1-1 counts here, as Riley will stare down the matchup with Venesti once more. And Venesti in batting practice today, his fellow teammates said it was a home run derby out there. He was sending them to all parts of the park and far. Venesti's going to shield this one off over to left. Should be playable, and it's going to drop down. So it'll be a base hit for Tyler Venesti here. Tucker couldn't get to it. So the Mavs have 2 on with just 1 out for Carter Roth. Talk about seasons of greatness. Carter Roth had one for the ages. Second in the league in hits this year, trailed William Edwards by 1. At one point, it looked like he may be able to set the league record at 90, and he came up just short at 85. Roth also high in the RBI charts, in the top 3 in that. And he was leading the league in batting average for most of the season, still ended respectable, or more than respectable, above 370, but wasn't able to claim the crown. That went to Bernie Sakaris, who batted .405 over for the Lethbridge Bulls. Riley's first pitch is going to miss for ball 1. Roth's got a great eye at the plate, and he can drive it to any part of the field. Contact is what Roth is looking for, especially with 2 on here. Would love to get an early lead for his squad. That one going to miss from Riley. Mavericks putting early pressure on the Red Sox here, and in their last game against them at Athletic Park, it wasn't the runs flowing in that treated them well. It was actually their pitching that starred. Gary Dornan and Xander Roberts both had back-to-back fantastic starts. Xander Roberts pitching a complete game shutout, and Gary Dornan having plenty of strikeouts for himself. This one over to short. Roth's got good speed. Over to first. They got him in time. A double play ends the bottom of the first, and a big one for the Red Sox, who negate any runs coming across the board for the Mavericks. The Mavs leave 2 stranded, and it is 0-0 after 1 inning of play. We will be back with our top of the second inning after a short word from the WCBL.
In one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today. Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights, full archived game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus 2 weekly shows including the WCBL Report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday, and also the WCBL Game of the Week pregame show leading right up to game time every Thursday night. It's all in one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today. Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights, full archived game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus 2 weekly shows including the WCBL Report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday, and also the WCBL Game of the Week pregame show leading right up to game time every Thursday night. It's all in one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today. Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights.
And we welcome you into the top of the second here from sunny Medicine Hat, Alberta, as the sun peering out from the clouds here and peering into the batter's box is Brady Bye having a career year. He's been with the Red Sox for a long time, and we'll touch on his Red Sox career a little bit more as we move further along in the broadcast. I just wanted to make a note. We will have a couple of guests joining us up here. James Tubb of the Medicine Hat News will make an appearance at some point, and then Nick Wetbrook, of course, our director of promotions here with the Medicine Hat Mavericks, will also chime in for an inning. Bye behind 0-1 here. He's going to ground this one foul. Volcano was all over it, but it'll take a bounce over the line. Brady Bye's got plenty of power, and spoke about this a bit in the last time the Red Sox were here. Didn't know how to use it in the past, didn't know how to let up, but now that he's found a way to slowly progress and use his power, he's been a lot more effective, says Rai Pathakis, their head coach. Diaz got him in a good spot, 0-2. Here comes the pitch, and that one's going to miss. Bye with that signature turn away that he does every time he's not a fan of a pitch. Kind of Soto Shuffle-esque out there. Waiting behind Bye, and on deck is James Wright. So couple of guys who can catch behind the plate will go up back-to-back. Did he go there? He did. They're going to look over, and Ron Shuchuk over at third says that he swung. King confirming that and gets the tag as well. So a quick first out here for the Mavericks. Again, that's 4 up, 4 down. Luis Diaz looking sharp. Maybe not the strikeout volume that he usually hunts for, but he's finding a way to sit batters down. Looking to do that next against James Wright, who's playing over at first base. Got the glove on it in time there to cap off the beautiful double play by the Red Sox. A jolt of momentum there early on. Let's see if he can work something with the bat. That one low from Diaz. So it'll be a 1-0 count here. Diaz, a fairly quick worker on the mound. That pitch will hop inside, and there's a strike. You know, for Diaz, he's been excited for this playoff opportunity, loves pitching here at home, and loves being able to take in the atmosphere and pitch in front of lots of happy Hatters. Gonna miss there, couldn't get the chase from Wright. And that slider, usually so effective. Think back to the All-Star game when he faced Zane Scansey and got him down on 3 consecutive sliders. It's a tough pitch not to swing at. 2-1 the count here, however. Time's going to be called. Wright will step out, readjust the batting gloves. Diaz back into his glove on the mound. Comes the pitch from Diaz, and a bit of a jammer there as that is fouled down near the Mavericks dugout. And apologies once again, we will not have the outs up on the score clock tonight. It'll just be the score and the inning for now, but we'll keep you updated on who is out as frequently as we can. 1 out currently as Diaz gets a swing and a foul back to the netting. Right, timing a little off there, but he was on that. He wanted that pitch. Right back in towards home plate. Waiting on deck behind him is the center fielder, Ian Montz. Diaz. Here comes the throwaway. Swing and a miss. It's going to get by King. And no hustle there from Wright. King will throw it down to first. Oh, the splits there. Volcano able to get it. That play was closer than predicted. And if Wright gets out of the batter's box quicker, that's probably a place for him on first base. But instead, King with the late recovery and a stretching play by Volcano. Not easy. So Ian Montz will come up with nobody on. Looked like he could have had 1 here for the moment. There's 2 out for the Red Sox. And that's going to be the biggest question. Can they get guys on the base path, put a little bit of pressure on Diaz's back? A little bit of pressure on Montz now as he's behind 0-1. Diaz into his pocket here. Shakes off a few pitches. Now here it comes. No swing there from Montz. Last time Montz was here at Athletic Park, he batted in the 1 spot. He's filed his way down the lineup since, and now he's batting in the 6th spot. Ooh, this one is pulled far, but into foul territory. Diaz will readjust, and so will Montz, who's behind 1-2. Not as quick this inning as the first was. Diaz, a step forth. And he's going to get Montz looking. There's the K that Luis was looking for, and he does it on his own terms this time. No throw over to first, and it is 6 up, 6 down for the Mavericks as they look to win 1 of 6 tonight and get on their road towards a title. But first, we will check in with 2 players who are hungry for a title from each team tonight in our nightly head-to-head. And these are 2 guys that were on each team last year and had the same aspirations of claiming the Harry Hallis Memorial Trophy. Micah Dvorak over in left field tonight. He can play all over the outfield. A veteran presence, often batting in the 9 spot. Had 3 hits in 3 games last year and 1 RBI. So a solid rookie campaign for Dvorak in his first playoff appearance in 24. And Jalen Myers, he made his first appearance with a little bit less success, just 1 RBI last season for the infielder, and he's not playing in tonight's game as well for Regina, so a veteran presence being missed for the Red Sox. But those 2 will be 2 to keep an eye on as this series goes on. You can never have enough of experience, and both these teams have a few guys who provide just that. And up to begin the bottom of the second inning is the shortstop, Johnny Volcano. He's a guy who's been waiting on this time of year all season long, just wants to get back into the moment and see if he can get the Mavs all the way to a championship as they hunt their fourth. Volcano, as I mentioned before, with the Lethbridge Bulls, not on the team when they won it, but he was labeled on their roster. That one labeled for ball number 2, and a good count here for Volcano to hit it. Volcano plays a real smooth short, as base coach and assistant coach Chad Martin noted earlier this week. But the bat hasn't been Johnny's friend as much as he would have liked it to so far this year. The one thing about Volcano is he can come alive at any time, and when the stakes are higher, he usually rises to the occasion. There's going to be a strike to Volcano, so count is 3-1 now. Riley still navigating his way around on the mound. The long righty will deal, and that one going to bounce into right field for a base hit. Johnny Volcano, a good way to begin inning number 2, and let's see if the Mavs can work now and drive someone through with a runner on. We say it too often, one Volcano to another. It'll be Adam Volcano now, who got a full season under his belt with the Mavericks. He's been a guy that's come in a few situations here and there over the last 2 seasons, joined the team late in 24, but this year he got the whole experience, and he delivered pretty well. His batting average climbing up the ranks at the end of the year, and he's another guy who wants it badly. He's seen what this team has gone through over the last couple of years, coming close to a couple of titles, and he wants to deliver on that just like his brother. Volcano, 0-1 count here. Riley won't even look over at Johnny at first. Just going to miss there as his catcher Castellanos tried to bring it back in. Riley trying to work efficiently here as well. Volcano will move back towards first base, and Adam will step out of the batter's box. Riley couldn't get that one to hit it either. He misses on that right-hand side twice in a row, left-hand side from his perspective. Riley staring down the pipe here. Here comes the pitch. Volcano, this could be another double play for the Red Sox. Shuffled off. Brannigan to first, sliding in and not in time is Adam, and that will be 2 outs for the Red Sox. Boy, the double play, their best friend at the moment. And here comes Evan Morrison. Speaking of 2s, donning the number 22 as always, and it's been about 2 weeks since Morrison has played. He looks to be ready to go here, and this is a guy playing in front of his hometown, didn't get the results that he wanted last year, and a more confident hitter this year as he looks to propel the Mavs forth. Going to take that first pitch for strike number 1. For a guy like Morrison, when you have been out long, it sometimes takes a little bit to get the rust off, and he's going to swing and miss there as he's behind 0-2. Ball boy will go and collect that. A little bit of extra time given here. Riley steps forward, and Morrison, did he go? He did not. And that one had everybody walking off the diamond, and just about everybody, at least on the Red Sox side, will be walking back. So Morrison lives another day in the batter's box. Here comes the dealing from Riley. This one going to be grounded foul. Morrison, despite only playing 35 games this year, 9 home runs. That climbs into the Mavericks' all-time ranks. He's in the top 7 all-time for homers in a season. Morrison going to drill this one into left field, and he's got himself a base hit. Welcome back, Evan Morrison, as he's aboard with 2 outs. That'll bring up the former Brooks Bomber, Nate King. King didn't play any playoff games last year for the Bombers, who are in it once again this year. So this will be his first taste of playoff action, and couldn't be a better atmosphere to do it in than Athletic Parks. Riley. Not a lot of looks over towards first base. That pitch is going to hit, so King will be rung up with strike number 1. 2 outs already here, so the Mavs will have to scrap late. We've seen them work a lot of runs through with 2 outs before, but it's not something you can bank on. This one's going to be grounded over towards shortstop, and it is going to be made by Matthew Fox. So another inning that is quickly by. The Mavs leave another on. That's 3 on the game as we head to inning number 3 here in round 1 of the playoffs. And we will now have a quick word from our official network, Flow Sports. And we return here as Justin Simard gets ready to come up to the plate. Simard has played in a lot of playoff games throughout the last couple of years for the Regina Red Sox. Almost all of them. Former All-Star, plays a lot of second base. He's mostly around in the infield, but tonight he's over at third. He's one of those players that can rotate, and one of those players that you got to assume, been in Regina for a while, he's going to want it more than just about anybody. Simard going to face Diaz here. He didn't play in the doubleheader that was here a couple of weeks back. So it'll be a new face on the other side of things for the Mavericks. Waiting on deck is Daniel Castellanos. The Red Sox yet to get through their order as Luis Diaz and more specifically his defense as well have been dicing through this Red Sox lineup. Of course, you look at Simard, a veteran here, and we'll talk a lot more about some playoff presences that'll be huge throughout this series for both teams as this broadcast progresses. Count's going to be 1-2 here. Diaz ending last inning with a strikeout. Can he start off the top of the third with one? Simard waiting on it. Here comes the pitch from Diaz, and a swing and a miss. There it is, that slider from Diaz, almost unhittable, and Simard's got to feel as though it is. Simard, the beer batter for tonight as well, so if you've been listening to these broadcasts throughout the course of this season, you know, once the beer batter goes down, it is $1 off beer for 10 minutes here at Athletic Park, and fans will be treated to a cheaper beverage tonight. Daniel Castellanos being treated to facing Luis Diaz. I'm not sure if he considers that a treat, as he gets hit with strike number 1 from Luis. Castellanos, we talked about Zaid Brannigan being a late addition. He as well. He's set up behind the plate tonight. Lots of guys leaving for the Red Sox. There hasn't been a lack of catchers on their roster. Of course, you got a guy like James Wright, Brady Bye, Castellanos himself, Rhett Hodgins. Lots of names that can fill into that role. Diaz, 1-1 here against Castellanos. Here it comes. That one going to be high. And so Diaz behind the count here is something that he rarely is. Just 7 walks on the season for Luis Diaz, an impressive feat. This one's going to be hammered over into right center field, and it's going to drop for maybe more than a base hit. A healthy bounce off the wall. Freeman off his back foot will send it into the infield, and it's a double for Daniel Castellanos, and a great way to start with 1 out here. Jordan Tucker will come up to the plate. Tucker getting the signal from his dugout, and then he'll be ready to go. He'll be the last Regina Red Sox to bat in this game. Diaz, first pitch is going to miss. Luis's ERA came down a lot through this season. Once it was above the 4s, and his goal was to get it back into that 3 range, and he did exactly that in his last appearance at Athletic Park. That was when the Swift Current 57s came to town, the last home game of the year. And if you think back to that game, it resulted in a walk-off win. Jeremy Freeman Jr. with a base hit over into right. And that capped off what was a great season at home for the Mavericks specifically. A little bit of flinch over at second base from Castellanos. That one is going to glide in there, and so Diaz looking to work the count back as it's 2-1. Diaz, quick look over in Castellanos' direction. This one's going to be hit high over to left field. Dvorak's going to go back. This ball is going a long ways, and Dvorak's going to make the play. Back over to second, and they're going to double him up. Oh, no. Volcano can't believe it. He's got his hands at his head, and I'm not sure what the call's going to be here. If it was caught in the air, that should be an out over at second. Unless Castellanos tagged up. Maybe I missed that on the back half. I don't have an extra set of eyes here with me tonight. Volcano was almost certain over at first that was a double play. But instead, Castellanos moves ahead, and now a signal being sent from the umpire at home plate. Bring up Raphael Jackson with one in scoring position here for the Red Sox. But what a play by Micah Dvorak. Maybe overshadowed by the result. This one hit high, and maybe it's got a chance to go. Carrying with the wind all the way back and gone. A 2-run shot for Raphael Jackson, and the Sox have a 2-0 lead. Just mere moments before, it looked like Tucker may have gone long, and instead Jackson takes his turn and goes deep. It's not something you see a lot from Luis Diaz, giving up the long ball, and you often don't see him playing behind at all score-rise, but the Mavericks behind 2-0 here. First pitch strike to Zaid Brannigan. So the Mavericks will be playing catch-up at home here in Game 1. Swing and a miss there from Brannigan. Fooled by the off-speed from Diaz. Oh, 0-2 the count. 2 outs. And a swing and a miss as Diaz gets the strikeout. But more importantly, the Red Sox get on the board first. A 2-run homer from star outfielder Raphael Jackson, who takes Diaz deep into right center field. And for Regina, a huge lead on the road, looking to claim Game 1. Still lots of game to be played. We'll be back with the Mavs bats in the bottom of the 3rd. Mavericks looking to respond here in the bottom of the third inning after Raphael Jackson put the first 2 runs of the game up on the board, and it was a bomb into right center field, gliding with the wind, but I'm not sure it needed it to get over that side. A massive hit for the all-star right fielder. Speaking of an all-star outfielder, may not be named that officially by the league, but playing like a superstar throughout his tenure is Micah Dvorak, batting in the 9-hole again tonight, and he made a superstar-like catch in the last inning. Could have been more runs on the board if he didn't make a backwards basket catch going towards the left field wall. And that's the reason it's only 2-0. We'll see if that pays off down the road for the Mavs. Dvorak, first time facing Riley in this game, and then the Mavs will be through their order. Dvorak's going to take there, and that one going to miss for ball number 1. Count is even at 1 apiece. There's a chance for rain tonight in Medicine Hat. But you know, as most Medicine Hat people always say, when it says it's going to rain, it usually doesn't. It almost circles around Athletic Park, and it stays sunny here at the Diamond. 1-2 the count. Here comes the pitch from Riley, and it's going to be fouled. Oh, that one just stays in. Dvorak hustling to first, and he gets through. I'm not sure that anybody in the stadium would have believed that that would have stayed fair, but an interesting bounce straight forward. Wright gets a glove on it, but couldn't get it over to Riley in time, and so the Mavs will have their first runner on here in the bottom of the third. An important runner to get on with Jeremy Freeman Jr. coming to the plate, and the Mavs at the top of their order. Freeman, the Ottawa University product from Chicago, Illinois, has the base stealing record at Ottawa University. Stole a lot of bases here as well, 23 in total on the year. Him and Yusei Uzawa, the only 2 players on the Mavs to eclipse 20, as this one's fouled away by Freeman. Talking to Luis Diaz before the game, him and Freeman have been teammates collegiately and now here, and he said that when Freeman went to the dugout before his walk-off against the 57s, he said, I want that bat in my hand. I want the chance to bring this run through, and he certainly did. Pitch going to miss there from Riley. 1-1 now the count to Freeman. Freeman getting signals from JT over at the dugout. JT's first experience with the playoffs here in the WCBL. Got to be a bit of a nerve-wracking situation for him, but his motto stays the same. Come to the ballpark, enjoy yourself, and be thankful for being able to play this great game all summer long. Freeman, healthy count here. It's 2-1. Shoulder shrug here from Riley. That one going to miss, so it's 3-1. A couple of times Riley's gotten behind, but the Mavs haven't put any good bat to ball here in this game. Or bats to ball, rather. Riley into the mitt. Freeman waiting on the pitch. Here it comes. Freeman will foul this one aside. Long way to go over in right field. Hats off over there and not able to make the play. It would have been a tricky play for Jackson. Spoke about Jackson's speed off the top of today. He is an elite outfielder, as he is with the bat, as you've already saw. No ball is out of his reach. He always makes it competitive, and a great example of that down the right field line there. Freeman very similar in center field. He's got great speed as well. Adam Volcano in right field actually tonight for the Mavericks as well. He's got an underrated set of speed. Full count here to Freeman. Dvorak still over at first base. Mavs have grounded into 2 double plays already this game. Regina hoping to make it 3. Freeman's going to wait there, and he will get himself a walk. So 2 aboard here for the Mavericks, and we'll see if they can churn out a response to the Regina Red Sox 2 early runs. It'll be Aaron Volcano, who's tasked with pushing the runners ahead. Waiting on deck is Tyler Venesti, and you feel like Venesti, if the Mavericks get to him, barring obviously a triple play or something out of this world, is due for a big moment. This is a guy that spent a lot of time in this league. He's had his fair share of playoff highlights, but an early one in this game could change the tides. Back to Riley on the mound now, who's looked solid so far this game, hasn't given up any runs. It's not like he's striking out any batters either. One sign of a good start from a good starting pitcher is when they can consistently get ground balls, and we've seen a lot of that from Riley tonight. Hasn't been a lot of clean contact for the Mavericks. Riley will reach around his belt here. Volcano looking towards the dugout. One hit of home plate, and he's ready to go. Count here 2-0. Still no outs on the board. 2 runners aboard for the Mavericks. Volcano takes there for a strike as that ball caroms back into the zone. You can see fans not only piling into the stands, but piling around the berm as well. During playoff time, that's something you see often at Athletic Park. A couple of lawn chairs out there on the pavement. Volcano hit with a strike there, and ooh, and a couple of ahs from the crowd. 2-2 now. Good job from Riley to work himself back. Volcano, one twirl of the bat here. And that one's going to be high, so a full count to Aaron Volcano. Dvorak gets on with an interesting play over at first. The walk to Freeman. Maybe a potential walk coming to Volcano here. Riley looking to do other things. Here comes the pitch, and it's going to be stung out over into right field. Dvorak going to hold over at third base, and the bases are loaded for the Mavericks here. And Regina in a little bit of a pickle as Medicine Hat throwing on the pressure. And now a tall task for a tall pitcher in Landon Riley. He's got Tyler Venesti at his hands. Boy, Venesti to Roth here. This is a dangerous combo for the Mavericks and a dangerous situation for the Red Sox. Mavericks 5 hits already, no runs across. Chance to get quite a few here. Here comes the pitch from Riley. It's going to float outside, and that'll be ball number 1. No for Venesti. It didn't start here with the Mavericks. It started back in 2022 with the Edmonton Prospects, his WCBL debut. Didn't make the playoffs with them, but has since gone on to make 3 consecutive postseason appearances, all 3 with the Mavs. And there'll be a mound visit here as Venesti will step away. Castellanos heads out in the direction of Riley. Looks like we have pitching coach Stephen Butts for the Regina Red Sox heading out. So Butts will have a quick talk with his starter. Venesti will take a stroll around. Can't be easy with the nerves bubbling out there. A bases loaded situation on both sides of the coin. You got Riley, who's trying to break himself out of this tough stretch, and Venesti, who's wanting to make it happen but has to wait a little longer now. Almost a freezing the kicker type situation being employed by the Red Sox. Venesti will put things on play here and get back into the batter's box. The sharp swing lefty gets ready for a pitch from the quick dealing righty. Nice pitch there from Riley as he drifts that one in. 2-1 count here to Tyler. Bases full. Step back here from Riley. Here comes the pitch, and it's going to hit for strike number 2. Close one down below, but it'll clip for Riley. Obviously some positive words of encouragement from Stephen Butts, and it's gotten his starter right back on track. Comes another, and that one's going to be down low. Good play by Castellanos as it got caught up in the footing of Venesti, but it stays in front. You know, that's a dangerous play. We saw earlier on in this season some wild pitches ending games. Venesti back into the batter's box. It's a full count. The last thing Riley would like to do is walk in a run. Venesti's going to turn this one over, and it's going to go foul. Lots of pop on that for Venesti as it clears its way all the way over the right field foul wall. See that bumping into the parking lot on that far side. Venesti will get another chance to go here. Still nobody out, and the bases are full in the bottom of the third inning. Riley, ooh, Venesti threw his bat as if he was going to walk to first, and instead it is a strikeout for Riley. Wow, a key play there for the Regina Red Sox as Landon Riley dots the side and is able to put the Mavs runners on hold and limit the Mavs from scoring. Another opportunity here with one out for Carter Roth, and wouldn't it be something if in 3 consecutive innings the Regina Red Sox are able to get out of an inning with a double play? That would be 6 total base runners left on for the Mavericks if they can't push the 3 on through here. Roth has other plans. We're going to miss for Riley. Castellanos tossing it back over to the mound. Castellanos, the Western Texas A&M product behind the plate. As we mentioned earlier, Riley from Rogers State could be a double play here. Bouncer over to second. Roth diving to first. He's safe. So Dvorak gets in. The Mavericks get their first run of the game. And this time around, the Red Sox do not convert on the double play opportunity. And large in part due to Roth's great speed down the first base line. Dvorak with a bit of a note there for Johnny Volcano as the Mavs have cut this lead in half. They have runners on the corners now, but not how you'd like to draw it up. Nobody out and the bases loaded. And 2 outs to follow. Johnny Volcano treks his way up to the plate, gets hit with a first pitch strike from Riley. And that's one of the controllables that for both Riley and Diaz they need to keep their sights on is that first pitch strike. Throw back over to first, and no call there, so we're going to assume that Roth is safe. He was far off that bag and took a long reach to get him back. Oh, 0-1 count here to Volcano. Volcano quickly behind 0-2. Johnny still has an opportunity to come back and play another season with the Mavs next year. He's still got eligibility. We'll go back to Doane and play another year of collegiate ball. Here's Riley with the throw. That one going to miss low, and a long reach there from Castellanos, who's done well specifically on his right-hand side. A couple of yoga stretches down there to make it happen. Count now leans over to 1-2. And Riley going to get himself out of what was a scary jam there. The bases were loaded. He's just given up 1 run in that time. High one to Volcano here. The count's 2-2. He was looking to pull that off-speed pitch down. Just didn't get enough of it. Another one's going to miss. Volcano with his patented head shake at the end of that. Kind of Soto-esque without the shuffle. Volcano dots up the plate as he always does here. You'll see that from all Volcanos, a little touch of the plate before they go. And Roth going to go here. A swing and a miss from Volcano, and that will end inning number 3. A promising start ends in disappointment. The Mavs drive just 1 runner across after bases loaded, nobody out, and the Red Sox cling to a 1-run lead here as we are officially through 3. And since we are through 3, let's take a look at how these two teams fared during the regular season. It was a 34-21 campaign for the Mavericks, who outdo their win total by 1 from the previous year, in which they had, of course, 33. For the Red Sox, they were just around 500 at 29-27, had a hotter start to the season and faded later on, in large in part due to bodies leaving. That's always a problem. 4-4, these two teams split the season series. The Mavs taking both games in the doubleheader to close out the series, in which they were all over the Red Sox. Different story early on here tonight, and of course, it's the playoffs. That's what you can expect. And the run total very similar, 431 on the regular season for the Mavs to 416 for the Red Sox. Both teams very close, and I think we're seeing why in this game. We will be back with more action in just a few. And let's begin the top of the fourth inning from Athletic Park in a one-run game. Boy, this one has playoff baseball written all over it. Nothing better than close ball games, and we're getting just that, a treat early on. Diaz back on the mound for his fourth inning of work. He's given up just 2 hits on the night, but 2 runs right alongside it. Diaz, a first pitch ball here as he eyes down Matthew Fox, a great hitter, and he shows you why. Into center field, out of the reach of Volcano, and it's a base hit to start off the fourth for Fox. Fox, a late addition to the All-Star team this year. Mostly played at third base in that game, but he plays shortstop. He plays everywhere. He's even pitched a little in years past. I think just 1 appearance for him this season. Hasn't been used as much in that department, but always a threat regardless of where he stands. Back to Diaz on the mound now. Early one on here for the Red Sox. This one going to be grounded. Can the Mavs get a double play of their own? In and out of the glove. It's botched at the end, and it was due to the runner running into Volcano, so it'll be 1 out over at second. That'll be Fox, and they're not able to convert the double play as a result. So still 1 on for the Red Sox, but now 1 out right next to it. And a long wait here. There's a bit of a discussion going on. It looks like Ron Shuchuk's having some words with the coach over at first base for the Red Sox. And he's not happy with it. A couple of head shakes there from the man at first base for Regina. Shuchuk's seen a lot of plays in this league. He's worked a lot of games, a lot of playoff games. He's an experienced umpire out there. Look back in at the plate now. Pitch is going to be low from Diaz. Over on first is Brady By, and it's James Wright in at the dish. Diaz going to get that one popped up there from Wright. And it'll go all the way back towards the souvenir store as it clears the stands. Wright looking to settle in here. Had to play over at first earlier in this game. He's capped off a couple of double plays. Here comes the throw from Diaz, and it's punched aside. So surviving a little longer here is Wright. It's the right spot for the Red Sox to be in. Up 1, and they got a base runner on already with just the 1 out. If they can get the wheels turning here, get some action from guys like Montz and Wright, who will be up back-to-back. Could be a different story in this ball game. Diaz on the way. A bouncer down low was looking for a early chase there from Wright. Didn't get it. King loses his helmet in the process. He'll throw that back on. And mentioned King with the Brooks Bombers didn't get to play in the playoffs last year, and it's a familiar story for a lot of these Mavericks. Johnny Volcano, as we talked about, not getting to play in the playoffs with his first year when he was with the Bulls. And Jaden Babiak, not in this game tonight. Fort Mac qualified for the playoffs in his rookie year. He didn't get into any games either. So most of these guys have made their playoff debuts with Medicine Hat. Diaz will toss around the ball. Get reset here on the mound in a full count. A guy that does not walk a lot of batters. Here comes the pitch from Diaz, and it's going to be chopped aside there. Almost a reactionary swing off the bat of Wright. Taking a little bit of time here is Wright, and I'm sure he's a little bit relieved that that one didn't go off of a hand or even an arm. It's a scary play when a ball gets up in that area. Diaz back to it now. Here it comes. This one's going to be popped up into the infield. Volcano's got an eye on it. Instead, his brother Aaron will call him off and make the play. So there's out number 2. Still parked over at first base is Brady By. And it'll be Ian Montz who ushers himself up to the plate. You know, for Ian Montz, a really unique story is earlier in his season with LSU Shreveport, where not only did he win a national championship, but he had something maybe even sweeter. Got reunited with his long-lost brother. 22 years they had been separated, and You got to meet him for the first time, and out over there at second base, third out. That will conclude the inning. But one more point about Ian Montz, just a reuniting moment for him and his brother, a basketball coach, and you know that he was probably very happy to be reconnected with him in such a great scenario and in a great place. We will be back after a quick word from Flow Sports. The lights are on here at Athletic Park as we get into the bottom of the fourth inning, and Luis Diaz allows one on in that last. The Mavs able to keep things at bay as they get Ian Monson. There's a deep conversation going on down here over towards first base. Rai Pathakis and it looks like Ron Shuchuk are going head-to-head here in an argument. And I haven't seen Pathakis get ejected yet, and I don't think he's done anything crazy enough to warrant that, but a heated conversation ensuing here as Shuchuk came over after the inning concluded, and I think it might have had something to do with that near double play that just resulted in the one out for the Mavericks. They ruled base runner interference as Volcano dropped it over at, well, he was playing short, but over at second base, and so that resulted in just the one out. But the Red Sox argued that they didn't feel it was that. Pathakis gets in a couple of words here with Shuchuk, and I believe he is still in the game. It looks like he is remaining in the dugout, and rightfully so, as now Adam Volcano will come up to the plate after that spirited debate down below. Lights are on here at Athletic Park, a little bit earlier than usual, but it sets the tone for what should be a star-studded finish. We got lots of baseball still to be played as we're still only in the bottom of the fourth inning, and Landon Riley back on the mound, giving up 5 hits in this game, but just the one run. And he got out of a bases-loaded jam in the last, just surrendering that one. Volcano, a bullet up the middle, and that's a leadoff base hit for the Mavericks right fielder. And for Adam, getting to play a full season was so big for him. You know, when you're a rotational piece and you come in here and you come in there, it can be tough to get your rhythm. This season, Volcano had all season to work out the kinks, and we saw him progress, and at the end of the year, his batting average and all of his stats showed the same. The growth of Volcano throughout his time with the Mavericks, and specifically this year, has been tremendous. Evan Morrison comes up to the plate, another guy who's had great development this year, a second-year player with the Mavs, mostly playing first base. He's in the DH role tonight. A lot more patience this year from Morrison. There's still times where he gets a little bit quick and wanting to swing. Volcano will scamper back to first. That ball blocked well by Castellanos, who's done an excellent job behind the plate tonight. Back to Morrison. The power has come with his patience. It's similar to Brady Bye, and the clip is around the same for both hitters. Here's Riley. And here comes the pitch. Morrison going to foul it back to the netting, and he'll be behind 1-2. Behind Morrison and waiting on deck is Nate King, so the Mavericks near the bottom of their order. Dvorak will follow if we get to after that. Riley on the way, a low one as Morrison ducks out of the way. Count is even at 2. Morrison with a nifty hit over into left field in his first at-bat of the game. You know, that's got to be big. Get the monkey off the shoulder early on and start to feel like you're in the ball-playing rhythm again. Morrison, a swing and a miss there, and that will sit him down. And that's out number 1. Nate King earlier this season had a monster game here at Athletic Park where he had a home run and a double. And it was a game that the Mavericks ended up losing in the very end, but if King can get back to that sort of production offensively, maybe you can't rely on it all the time, but if you can have a game here or there, that'll be a treat for Medicine Hat. Riley's been a treat on the mound tonight for the Red Sox. Looking like a seasoned vet out there as he pitches that one towards the plate, and he's going to hit for strike 1. It's been one thing that's gone along swimmingly here for the righty. His first pitch strikes. At the start of the game, he was getting behind a little bit, but he started to convert. Here's one that's going to be turned on for King. It's not going to have the legs, and it will be caught by Tucker over and left. So Volcano's leadoff single still has him sitting at first, and will bring Micah Dvorak up to the plate. Leaving base runners on, the early theme in this game for the Mavericks, and in a game that's going to be close all the way, it could come back to bite them. It's one thing for the Red Sox. They haven't gotten a lot of traffic on behind Diaz, but they capitalized when they did get a guy on and into scoring position. Dvorak, an RBI machine early on in the regular season, and he picked it back up towards the end here as well. He's a guy that's a calm presence at the plate. Can jump at any time. That one going to go off the netting. Dvorak threw his bat at it and lost it at the very end. Castellanos missing it as well. Dvorak, a lifelong Yankees fan, and you know he's got to be thinking he doesn't want to be in the rhythm that the Yankees are in right now. I guess in honor of Wayne, I should say he wants to be in a Blue Jays type rhythm at the plate. Boy, have they put up some runs in Colorado over the last couple of days. I'm sure both teams playing in this game would love that sort of run production. But Riley and Diaz both not making it easy in this game. Riley on the way in. That one going to be high to Dvorak, so it'll be 2-1. Borderline there, but Dvorak getting the call. Still one over at first and Adam Volcano. Dvorak, a swing and a miss, and he's got that long swing and showcases that they are not able to make contact. Dvorak, a senior from Tabor College, so this is his last bit of baseball here. Lots of guys on the Mavericks in the same spot. 2-2 the count, 2 outs, 1 on. Dvorak, swing and a miss, and frustrated at the very end. But how about the day for Landon Riley? Limiting the Mavs to just 1 run on the board and lots of runners left on. He continues to file through batters here on the road as the Red Sox in the lead in Game 1. Welcome back to sunny Medicine Hat, Alberta for inning number 5, the top of the 5th inning, and Justin Simard will lead it off for the Regina Red Sox. You know, for a guy like Simard, he's got to be not only a voice in the locker room with plenty of experience around the WCBL, but a pushing presence, wanting to get his guys not only across the finish line to a first-round victory, which he hasn't seen yet in his career, but also to, more importantly, a championship. Diaz trying to keep things at bay here. The Red Sox have already gotten 2 runs on him and a foul off by Simard. One and one count. And that one going to be low from Diaz. It's been an interesting theme here for Diaz. He hasn't worked behind in a lot of counts this year, but we're seeing that more and more in this game. Diaz has pitched a lot of innings this year. He's now over 61. Diaz back into the glove. And this one's going to be skied high out into center field. Should be playable for Freeman, who's got great wheels, and he's going to come down and make that play. And now, for the top of the 5th inning, I am fortunate to be joined by James Tubb of the Medicine Hat News, who settles up in here to the broadcast booth. And James, instead of me interviewing you this time, although I would love to, let's talk some ball. What have you seen down from field level where you've been for most of this game?
Yeah, Truman, thanks for having me on. So far it was Regina felt early. Early they felt really aggressive, and, they've since sat back a little bit on Diaz, and saw it with the home run there. Just sat back on a slider and was able to knock it out.
And we saw Rai Pathakis having a bit of a conversation over at first to begin. I think that was the bottom of the 4th. Did you catch any of that and hear what was said, and do you know what it might be over?
No, I wasn't down on that side, Truman, unfortunately. I don't know. It looks like someone was ejected from the Regina side. We don't know yet who, but it looks like there was some ejection from crew chief Ron Shuchuk.
Shuchuk over at third tonight as we take a look at the plate here. One down already is Diaz. He's looked solid in this game, but maybe not your typical vintage Diaz performance with giving up the home run.
Yeah, just a little bit of that Regina just, coming at him, knowing what's coming maybe, or just kind of, having seen him 8 times this year, or played Medicine Hat 8 times, and, you see guys through video and stuff, and I think they've, just gotten exposed to him a little bit and kind of, are a little more comfortable with him than they were early.
And for Regina, the storyline all year long is they weren't what they were. But this group is proving to be a very competitive bunch, and we've seen that in spurts to end the year. But what they've done here tonight has been impressive.
They're very gritty, and I like that. They like to fight back in games, and they will make mistakes, and they have here tonight. But it doesn't cost them it hasn't cost them yet.
And Diaz, maybe a costly one here, is he issues a walk, something we don't see a whole bunch. It just seems like Diaz a little bit out of his rhythm right now. We talked about it wasn't vintage Diaz, but seeing a walk from him is almost startling.
It is. It's a little different, and it's Regina's getting longer innings at the plate, and it was a quick one there for Medicine Hat there at the bottom of the 4th now. So you don't get as much time to rest, so it all adds up, stuff like that.
Diaz on his way in. That one going to miss for ball number 1. James, you've covered the Mavs a lot this year. Is there any storyline with them up to now that stands out to you, and is there anything going into the playoffs that gives you more hope for a team like this?
I just think how consistent, the top of the lineup has been all year. Jeremy Freeman Jr., Aaron Volcano, and Tyler Van Este when he's been healthy. He's all 3 of them, they're seniors, right? They're experienced. They know what they're doing. They're pretty weathered in this league and in their own baseball league. So it's, you have that experience, the calmness at the top of the plate and the top of the order, and it comes to the plate, and it's paid off all year, and I think that's kind of when it's going to pay off, is this playoff time.
And we saw last year a lot of paying off in the regular season. What would you say the major difference is between 24 and 25? Because they're going to get compared, especially if this game continues in the direction that it could be heading.
I think this year's team compared to last year's team on paper, had more college talent, you would say, if you were just looking at the rankings. But this year's team, they blonded a little quicker. There's less finger pointing is the wrong way of saying it, Truman, but it is a team, and they've been a team all year, and they've played with that kind of an effort, and they've been fun to watch that way. So I think that's kind of continued here, and the biggest thing is it doesn't have to be the top 4 guys or the top 3 guys, as we mentioned here, that can carry the boats. It's it's 1 through 9, and anyone coming off the bench.
Diaz back on the mound here in a 2-2 count. One over at first. This one going to be popped up. Might be playable for Aaron Volcano. He looks like he's got eyes on it and now has a glove on it. That'll be out number 2 and a key one. You know, you got a guy over at first. We watched earlier in this game Castellanos coming all the way around. That's not something you want to get into a habit of doing.
No, and at this point, you know, in the 5th inning, there's still lots of game left, but at the same time, there's not a lot of game left, right? So you're down 1 right now after the Mavs, and you just want to kind of keep it there. So every little out, whether it's that foul out there or a drop third strike that the runner doesn't run on, it's these outs that you have to get, and, you know, they've gotten so far here.
This has been a tough out. Raphael Jackson, he's responsible for the only 2 runs coming across this game with a homer into right center field. Jackson, an elite hitter in this league. We didn't really get to see him showcase his talents during the All-Star game, just one at-bat. But throughout watching Regina for most of the season, he's a guy that teams don't want to see.
No, and there's a reason he's in the leadoff spot for Regina, right? He sets the table, whether it's getting on base or the power stroke, as we saw here. And, you know, that's kind of the threat that you want. And, you know, the Mavs have a little bit in Jeremy Freeman Jr., right, of getting on base, getting hits, can run too, but also, you know, can flash that power when needed.
Jackson will walk his way back up with a little extra stick on the hands there as the bat wasn't cooperating with him. It's going to be 0-1 here. 1 on, 2 outs. Diaz with the pitch. That one going to miss. No, James, you were down by the Mavericks dugout. What is it? What's the feeling down there? Is it anxious? What's the mood in a place like that when you are trailing?
I would say it's what it would be at any time of the game, first inning, second inning. It's, you know, they know that they can come back in any game.
This one popped out over to second. Roth will make the play, and that is the 3rd out. So the Mavs, they do good work again here, leaving the 1 on first. And the Red Sox, you know, they still have the lead, but the more shutdown innings the Mavs produce, the better it's going to look down the road if the bats can get going. We'll see if that happens in the bottom of the 5th. We will send you to a commercial break and then be right back for exactly that. So Landon Riley still on the mound for the Regina Red Sox as we enter the bottom of the 5th inning, and he will see Jeremy Freeman for another time here. One thing about Freeman that we do know is as the game progresses and he sees a pitcher more and more, he gets better and better. This is his chance to prove that that theory still exists during the playoffs.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see whether he goes aggressive here or wants to see another pitch or two here in this at-bat.
First pitch is going to miss, so it'll be ball 1. And you wonder, for Riley, he's not a guy who's pitched a whole lot this season. You can't bank on the wheels to fall off if you're the Mavericks, but you wonder, will that come sooner than later because he hasn't been in the game as much? Here's Freeman, a bullet up through center field along the ground, and that'll be a base hit for 44.
And that's what you want, obviously, a lead-off guy to get on, the first batter of the inning, right? And, you know, as you mentioned that, just with Riley, we see arms warming up in the Regina bullpen. So, you know, they They recognize where the game is at, where a one-run lead here is, and how important it is and what it can do in a game. So when you have a guy like Freeman on now, if you're the Mavs, you got to, whether you move him over with a sacrifice or just trust your guys here that we talked about at the top of the lineup to move him over. And, you got to almost try to manufacture a run here to tie it up.
Well, and he's got juice in the legs, obviously. Would not surprise anybody if he tried to steal here, but a swing and a miss from Volcano on the other side of things. Volcano with a nifty little hit over into right field his last time up. For Volcano, he's a guy who can hit the ball anywhere, but he wants the long ball. Volcano's going to send this one foul back over the stands. Aaron will move back in, but he's behind 0-2, and this has been a problem for the Mavs. Leaving runners on, we saw Adam Volcano last inning stranded over at first base. They don't want to do the same to Freeman. This one's going to be grounded. Could be two. There's one. A second, and they get him. Volcano sliding in over at first, but the third double play of the game for the Red Sox. And it's writing itself right now, James. Double play after double play after double play. That's not something that you're going to, is going to be a part of winning a ball game.
It doesn't make many highlights, right? Unless it's a flashy play on the double play. But, give credit to the Regina defense. They've done a really, really good job turning those plays and escaping the big inning. We've seen it now, as you mentioned, 3 times. And, you see the slide there at first from Aaron Volcano. The Mavs like that. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how you feel about that, but they like imploring it.
Ooh, this one is going to hit Vanesti. He will go over to first base. So the Mavs lose a runner there, and then they gain one back. This time, though, it's with 2 outs.
He's one of the top, I believe it's top 8 hit batters in the league, and he seems to wear it. And obviously, tuning into the All-Star game and being at the All-Star game, his lone at bat in the All-Star game, hit by pitch, and it's just, that's been Tyler Vanesti this year, and really throughout his career is just getting on base, even if a lot of them come by hit by pitch.
Yeah, nobody more than Tanner DeGrazia over in Moose Jaw this season. As Roth, he's done a lot of that this year, puts that one into right field, and the Mavs have 2 on and maybe their best 2 hitters on the base path here. We'll bring up Johnny Volcano. That's something you've become accustomed to seeing. Vanesti getting hit by a pitch, Roth putting one through just out of the reach of a defender, and it's been a magical combination.
It has been. Those 2 back-to-back in the lineup there, it's just really worked. And they both love playing the left side of the infield or really wherever they're asked to play. And, you get Johnny Volcano up to the plate. The last time the Mavs played Regina in the playoffs, Johnny Volcano had a heck of a night in Game 1, won it for the Mavs, helped win it for the Mavs, but, was a big part of the offense that night. That was the year they went to the finals against Okotoks. So, if you're Johnny Volcano, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th, no better time right now with a runner on second and first.
And we talked about it earlier in the show that Volcano, after that game, he actually had to leave and go back to university. So he knows that there's still more for him to do, and he wants to write a deeper story than he has in the past.
For sure. And he's one of those 7 seniors on this team, right? That, the baseball clock is kind of winding down, and I know Johnny has another year of school ahead of him, but, the one guy on the base and second base there, this is it for Tyler Vanesti.
Volcano, a hard shot. That one will go foul into right. And just to tick off for a couple of these Mavericks hitters, nothing bad yet, but they'd like to get adjusted back into their comfort zones.
And this is where we've seen a lot of this game. It's 0-2, right? It's having to fight back here and, just fight to spray one somewhere now. Don't need the home run now. Just need a ball in play somewhere.
Tying run over at second. The leading run over at first base. Froth's able to get all the way around. Here comes the pitch. Volcano's going to send this one into flight. This might be trickier than advertised. Brannigan down there. He's going to make the play. That's out number 3. Another pair stranded for the Mavs. Boy, it is deja vu out there for Medicine Hat at the moment, and the Red Sox loving it as the deja vu working in their favor. They turn another double play, this time in the bottom of the 5th, and now we head to the 6th. This one chugging along. we're back for the top of the 6th inning on a night that has not gone the Mavs' way so far, but it's a one-run ball game, and there's just nothing better than one-run ball games in the playoffs. Another tight one. These two earlier when they played in the doubleheader, the first game of the doubleheader, pretty tight game towards the end. The Mavericks pulling ahead. We'll see if they can do the same here, or if it's Regina's time. You feel like history suggests that eventually Regina's going to get over the first-round hump. The question is it this year, or is it 3 years down the line, maybe?
For sure, and the Mavs, this is, the third time in the last 4 years they've played Regina in the first round, and it's gone all the Mavs' ways throughout that. So, there is some history there between the two clubs, right? And there's Regina, you want to get over the hump of the first round. You want to get past the Mavericks if you can, and, it's a back and forth of that. And it's the same thing with the Mavs, right? You lose in the first round last year. They want to go on a run here again, and they want to not just have 2 home playoff games. So for them, it's, both sides, there's a lot to play for here beyond the championship.
This one's going to be grounded over towards Carter Roth. He gets a glove on it, almost fell over in the process, but he makes the play, and that's out number 1. And that's kind of what it looks like out there for both teams, just hanging on at the moment. That Carter Roth play indicative of all of it. And with one down here, that's Brannigan going down. It'll bring to the plate a deadly hitter. Matthew Fox already got a hit in this game. Fox originally playing at BYU. He transferred out of there since, but this is a guy that can clearly play Div 1 baseball. He's got the talent to do so. It'll be interesting to see if he makes it back up there at some point. This one fouled off towards right foul territory, and it lands on the top of the batting cages. Diaz will stare right back in. Another foul off from Fox. And wanted to speak, you talked about that these two teams have played a lot in the playoffs. I want to take it back all the way to 2012. The Regina Red Sox, the last time they won a title, they actually beat the Mavericks in the final, and you might be going, how is that possible? They play in the same division. At one point, Medicine Hat was actually on the other side of things. And the Red Sox got the better of them that year, looking to do the same here. Volcano. Oh, did he make it? Oh, he sure did! Johnny Volcano! Oh, a heroic effort. You want one to fire up the crowd, maybe fire up your team? Johnny Volcano. One of the best that you'll see right there.
And as big as that play is in the moment, it's even bigger that final out of that inning, Johnny Volcano comes onto the field, takes a little time before the inning, clearly frustrated he didn't get that hit, comes back, is able to lock in and make a play like that. And, a great catch there at first from my brother Aaron as well. And, it's just the maturity of being able to lock back in after not finding success on one side of the ball, doing so on the other side.
And you mentioned the maturity. That was not something that we saw from Johnny Volcano a couple of years back. Not that he's not a mature person, but his baseball, there would be a play, that would maybe hinder him throughout the game. This level of Johnny Volcano is a different beast, and we've seen it all season long when he's been on the diamond. Such an impressive player and such impressive strides year by year.
Really, from the first year even to the second year was the biggest step I think he took, Truman, and you saw it as well, of just the maturity and being that leader. I know last year he came in, he said, I want to help lead this team, and as a second-year guy, it was really impressive. And then in this year, he was the leader. It was him and Tyler Vanesti and the other veterans, but, it was the 2 third years in Vanesti and Volcano, and, they really took pride in that, and it's shown all year, and on plays like that, they want the ball, they want that moment, and more often than not, they're going to make good on it.
And you talked about both of them. Coach JT said, I lean on those guys at times because I'm new to the league. They're almost like second coaches in some way, but their leadership style is very different. You've had a chance to be around both of them. Explain to the people out there how a Johnny Volcano style of leading and a Tyler Vanesti style of leading may differ.
A little more vocal from Johnny Volcano, right, to louder in the dugouts, and Tyler Vanesti is loud as well when he has to be, but it is... and I think they both have the same thing of just lead by doing. And they just want to, they know what they can do. They know their limitations, their strengths, and that's how they're going to lead this team because, that is how you find success is know your strengths, play to that, and, work on your weaknesses. And they both have done that throughout their, school careers, college careers, and in their summer careers here with the Mavs.
Well, you look at Johnny Volcano, he starts, I believe, at Colby, and then he goes to Ottawa, and now to Doane. He works his way up. Tyler Vanesti starting at Taft, and it is that maturity shown by the sort of collegiate leagues that they're even playing in, and that all can be seen, the level that they keep reaching, here. I remember Tyler Vanesti year one was always looking for the pull hit. Now he's a guy, you put the ball anywhere, you got to be scared if you're a pitcher, because he'll put it right back into your face.
There's few hitters when I tune into away broadcast that scare away broadcasters more than Tyler Van Este, and that's it's a sign of respect, frankly, for what he's done in this league and what he can do at every at bat, and he is one of, if not the biggest threat in this Mavs lineup, and it is, as you mentioned, it from when he first got here to now, it's just a different production that he can put up.
This one going to be fouled off, put towards the Mavericks dugout. Diaz. The pitch count's got to be getting up there with the mileage that he's put on in this game, but it does look like he still has a little bit of gas left in the tank.
Yeah, this will be the 83rd pitch coming up here, and I don't know how much more he's got left, but he's been working pretty efficiently so far.
Diaz strides forward, swing and a miss. He did not allow the walk to come out of that matchup, and Luis Diaz, maybe that's it for him tonight. I don't see anybody warming up. I think he's got time to go here, but he gets a strikeout to conclude that inning and keep this at a one-run ball game. Now I want to take a quick minute to discuss a couple of players who have been in this spot before, a couple of guys who have been indeed playoff tested. We've spoke a lot about Johnny Volcano and Tyler Vanesti. Vanesti, 11 playoff games throughout his career, 14 hits. It's his third postseason along with Volcano's. Johnny, 6 runs scored over his 4 games played, and both players making their playoff debuts back in 23 against the Red Sox right here at Athletic Park. And Jaden Babiak, 3 games played, 3 RBIs last year. With a lot of the big stars fading in those games, Babiak came to life at the bottom of the order. He was a joy to watch, and when he gets into the lineup at some point in this postseason, you hope for him he returns to that form.
100%, and it's, the playoffs kind of play to his strength of you just need that one little knock. You don't need the big ball all the time. You just need a little hit here or there, and he sprayed it a lot against the Berries last year, and it worked out, right? As you mentioned, 3 RBIs.
And for the Regina Red Sox, a couple of names we talked about a lot in this game. Justin Simard, the biggest veteran on this team, the guy who's been here next to Brady by the longest. 3 games played over his playoff tenure, just 2 hits in that time. The same for Bai, each in their third postseason with the Sox. Bai debuting in 22 against the Mavs. 23 was the debut against the Mavs for Simard. And then Matthew Fox, who's had a great night tonight already. 2 games played, 2 RBIs. It's his second postseason with the Red Sox as well. He debuted against Moose Jaw, though, in 24. So a bit of a different route to his playoff start for Matthew Fox as opposed to the other 2. As we now have Adam Volcano coming up to the plate. So that's a little bit of a look of who those veterans, those leaders, we've talked about that so much already, could be on both sides of the coin. It's still out there, or we believe is still out there on the mound, is Landon Riley for the Red Sox. He gets Volcano to swing and miss, so it'll be an 0-1 count here. There's lots of warming up going on down there in the Regina bullpen. Can't quite get a number on that. A good hit over there. This could be 2 for Volcano. He's going to steam his way around first base, heading for second. Throw is off, and a leadoff double for number 2, Adam Volcano. Huge way to start this one.
Another guy sneakily it's only his second playoff run, third stint with the Mavs, and those plays are what Adam Volcano has always done here with the Mavericks. First year he came in, it was that 23 season. Came in as an affiliate late in the season, too late for playoffs, and was just energetic. Home runs, doubles like that, and we've seen that last year, and we've seen it all year. He loves to play the game, and you see that on a double like that.
And he loves to talk about the game, too. He's always a vocal guy and willing to have a conversation with anybody, whether he's known you for 20 years or known you for 20 seconds. Volcano, just respectful to all.
100%, and loves to flash a smile, right? And, get a little dirty playing the game and just brush it off and just keep smiling out there.
And he's got that Volcano boy competitiveness in him that all of them exude. Morrison going to foul this one off. Boy, would this be a moment to tie the game for Morrison. He's had some tough times this year. He hasn't played in 2 weeks. To do that in front of his home crowd, not sure what that was. It sounded like fireworks outside almost.
It was something rolling around the top of the roof above us, I think. I
That
don't know.
must have been the ball from Morrison,
I think so.
Catching everybody off guard here. Morrison, a swing and a miss as he's down on 3 pitches, so he won't get that moment now. And Riley will sit down another. Maybe a chance for Nate King to click into this game. for his third at-bat of the night. Volcano still over at second, and Volcano got really good speed, underrated speed, I think, from all three Volcanos. Anything in green grass has a chance to score at him. Look off from Riley, and that one not able to gravitate its way into the strike zone. It'll be ball number 1.
You know, we've seen at times this year the Mavs, they've got 3 catchers. They're able to rotate. So right now you get a guy with Nate King, who has some power. I would maybe say more of the all 3 catchers and, has that kind of a stroke here and can make contact as well.
Here's a bounce into the hand of Brannigan. He'll dish it off to first and advance Volcano. But still, 2 outs for the Mavericks with 1 looming over at third base. Micah Dvorak, an RBI guy, as mentioned prior, a contact guy. He can do it all. Can he do enough to get Adam through and tie this ball game up? Also wanted to apologize. We had the score at 2-0 on our score bug. It's been tricky without our regular scorekeeper tonight, but we've got things evened up now. The correct score should be on your block in the top left corner. And in that graphic of playoff returners, we didn't feature Micah Dvorak, but we talked about him off the top of the show. 3 RBIs last year as well for him. He had a really solid coming out party in the WCBL playoffs in 24.
He did, and for him it was a really good playoffs, and then took a ball to the head against the Berries, and it kind of affected him for the third game. But again, one of those seniors, he's one of the 7 that loves to play this game. This is it for him, right? So he's ready, locked in more than ever to play into a moment like this.
Dvorak, good count here, 2-0. Looking to push Adam Volcano across and make this a whole new ball game. Dvorak's going to foul this one aside. Tucker's going to have a long run as that ball looping in the air, and the play is made. What a play over in left foul territory from Tucker, and that ends the inning, and the Mavericks once again leaving runners stranded. Eventually, it's going to catch up with you if you're this Mavericks offense, and Regina is one big inning away from putting the Mavs into a headlock. Top of the 7th inning. This is when the game gets really interesting, and it's do or die time for both these teams. It seems it's a one run Red Sox lead rather here in the top of the 7th inning with James Wright coming up to the plate. Luis Diaz, another inning of work, and it looks like right behind him is going to be Ryan Harney. So from arguably best in the starter category to arguably your best reliever in the relief category, Harney going to get warmed down there.
100%. And if you're the Mavs right now, you just got to throw out your best. You can't think about tomorrow. You can't think about a potential game 3, right? You got to try to win the game in front of you. Hold Regina where they're at right now. And, Luis has done a really good job of that here, keeping them just to the 2 runs and that 2-run home run. And, beyond that, you just got to try to score on your own here.
And we'll see if Diaz has 3 more in him. This one is hammered. Way gone. No doubt about it, as going deep is James Wright, and it is a 3-1 Red Sox lead. The price was right on that one, and right where they want to be are the Regina Red Sox. A 2-run cushion now, and for a Mavericks team that has not got the bats going, it is a huge gap now between them and the Sox.
And again, it's just for the Mavericks team right now. You've got 9 hits. You had 4 hits for Regina, 2 of them home runs, and that's been the damage from the Red Sox here tonight. And, it's just been whereas you pile hits, and that should lead to success. It just takes the one, and it's only taken 2 here for Regina to have this kind of a lead.
Here's one along the ground from Mons, right into the pocket of Aaron Volcano. He'll make that play for out number 1. But the Mavs in a difficult spot. We talked about so many times throughout the regular season, there's that one inning that seems to be the big number, the crooked number on the scoreboard. In the playoffs, that's not something you can bank on. It's a tighter game. Everybody's playing at their best. Everybody's trying to play mistake-free, and so you don't run into a lot of those 7-run, 8-run innings, and the level of competition is at its highest.
And I know coming into the playoffs, head coach Jonathan Thornhill has talked about, you have to play mistake-free, but you have to play free as well and loose. And, they've done a good job of that this year, the Mavericks have. So that's, they've played like that tonight, haven't really seen things getting too tight for them, and you just got to keep that going here. And they also do a good job of, we've seen it in this game. You give up a run, you respond. So right now, you leave Regina at this one here and try to respond in the bottom half of the frame.
Diaz going to get a foul off looked like almost the face mask of King. Not sure it rattled him at all, as he doesn't really gesture towards anything happening. Home plate will be cleaned off here. Diaz back to the mound. 1-2 count here against Simard. Diaz staying set, and this crowd quieted all night long here by the Red Sox. Getting out to an early lead, putting the 2 on the scoreboard in the third. It set the tone for this game, and it really has been the Red Sox running this thing. They've played how they've wanted to play, and the Mavericks haven't really been able to step up to the task.
They deserve a lot of credit, the Red Sox do here tonight. They've made it count at the plate when they had to, and frankly, defensively and on the mound. They've done a really good job of limiting the Mavs.
And there's another example of what they've been able to do tonight. Simard into center field here. JT will come out from the dugout, maybe have a conversation here with Diaz. I don't think Harney's ready yet on the other end. And, we've seen Harney work in sample sizes this year. Of course, he got the start at one point. But preferably you'd like him for that 1 to 2 inning span and not to dip into any other innings.
For sure, yeah, he is, 2 innings max, I think, in the playoffs, right, with just how quick of the turnaround it is. As much as you're focused on one game, you still have to have that kind of in mind of, what is the future, whether it's a game 2, game 3, or the next round if you're lucky enough. And it's just, being smart with arms. And Ryan Harney has done a really good job since he joined them on the road against the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And, he is just maybe not the hardest throwing, but it's worked, right? And it's been a really effective weapon at the bullpen for the Mavs.
Yeah, he's got great finesse, the little frisbee motion from the outside. He's become a guy that when players see him the first time around, they're swinging way out ahead of, because he just fools them with how off-speed the off-speed is.
Great hair, too. I like the hair.
Yeah, the hair is good. Here's Diaz. This one's going to be popped foul. Lots of contact being made by the Red Sox tonight. They haven't had a lot of swings and misses against Diaz, and Diaz has become accustomed to seeing a lot of swings and misses on the other end. Looks like Volcano will run all the way over to right, and he's going to throw a ball back over the fence. That one drooped into live play. Diaz, 1 runner behind him. He's got the 1 out already. Looking to get 2 more and hand the game over to Ryan Harney. That one's going to miss, and it'll be a 1-1 count. Diaz still has kept that same pace. Regardless of the results, what the scoreboard says, he works quick, works efficient. It's the same gap between every pitch.
Doesn't seem to get too worked up in a moment like this, right? You give up a home run to lead off the inning, a singles on at first there. He just keeps kind of working at his own pace and, trying to find his success.
Diaz doesn't get that one to clip. So it's 3-1. Diaz a bit of a longer wait this time around. Didn't mean to jinx it up here, but I guess that's the result. Night sky getting darker and darker. Spoke about it earlier. There was a chance at rain at one point. Think we've surpassed that now, so this game should be on go the rest of the way. And that one is turned over and just foul. Ooh, that could have scored a run for sure.
Yeah, that works out well now, and you have that full count now. You can be a little more aggressive in the zone there, or around the zone, pardon me, if you're Diaz. And, we've seen Regina turn the double plays. Now is the time, right, to get out of the bottom or the top of this inning here and, get back to the offense.
Back on the mound we go now. Diaz, long stare. Got a strikeout last time he was in a full count situation. Runner bouncing around behind him. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be floated out to right. Volcano's going to make the play. So that'll be out number 2, and a big out number 2 at that.
There was a split second there. I thought he was going to throw to first, and there's a time to be aggressive, and I'm sure Aaron Volcano would have scooped that at first somehow or caught it, but at some point risk reward and just make the throw in and get the next guy.
But that also shows lots of focus and maturity over there from Adam Volcano in the regular season. Maybe that's a play we see more often than not, but in the playoffs you need to eliminate those 50-50s, and he did that right there.
For sure.
Diaz. Ooh, he just gets a slice there.
It's a good strike one call. Did you get your 50-50, Truman?
I never get the I leave that up to Wayne. Wayne does the 50-50 every time. I'm not a gambling man, just a commentator. Diaz on the way forward. Tried that same spot. Didn't get a swing, didn't get the call this time either. It'll be 1-1.
If it works, why not try it again, right? And you see Nate King try to frame it there, and you got to try to do that here when you're behind in the game but working ahead in the count.
That's true for some things. Wayne in the 50-50, not so much. He's been trying that for 3 years, still hasn't won.
At some point, it's got to hit. No, that's the degenerate way of looking at it.
We do not endorse any sort of gambling up here on the broadcast booth, and none of that is affiliated with the WCBL or Flow Sports. Just wanted to clear that out of the way.
Good job.
Gotta watch yourself.
Yep.
It's gonna hit for a strike. Is watching that one go by is Tucker, and Tucker made a fantastic play in left foul territory earlier in this game. Can he turn that flashiness in the field into something nice at the plate? 2s across the board. Samard over on first base, jumping around. Here comes the pitch from Diaz. Going to be grounded over to Vanesti. He gets out there with the dustpan over to Aaron Volcano at first, and that will be the 3rd out. So we head to the 7th inning stretch, and the Red Sox in command with a 2-run lead. And they get an extra in that inning via the home run. Want to thank James for coming on. James, it's been a fun couple of innings. Nice to have someone to talk to and, not only spread lots of information about this game, but about this great league in the WCBL. Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it, Truman. Thanks. I think so.
Let's take a look around what the Mavericks are going to be facing for the rest of this postseason. Of course, game 1 here versus Regina tonight. They will be on the road at Regina tomorrow. And then if there is a game 3, it will be back here at Athletic Park. And then for the next round, everything to be announced. So if we get there, we will update you. For now, we'll just keep it at the Regina series. And the Mavericks going to have to focus back in on the Red Sox here. And focus back in on Landon Riley. 7 innings of work, just like Diaz. And for a team in the Red Sox that needed a guy to go along with the limited arms that they have, and they've used a lot of guys lately, this is a extremely positive sign.
This is everything Regina could have asked for on both sides of the ball, right? You have the offense from the home runs. You have the defense and the pitching working for them. And, he spikes one there, and that's an aside from what he's done today on the mound for Riley. But it's worked so far through 6 innings for the Red Sox. And, they need one more out of him, right? Hand it off to the bullpen and, contain the Mavs a little bit longer.
And we want to welcome you back, James. I know there was a brief hiatus where I said you weren't coming back, but glad to have you for another inning. This one popped up. It should make its way all the way into the dugout, and the play isn't going to be made. Boy, if Wright made that over at first base, that would have been miraculous, but just not enough time as that ball drifting further right.
Pre-COVID Athletic Park, before the renovations, right, that's an out. That's the dugout's further back. That's wide open, a la the Oakland Coliseum, where this is all designed from. So it's always fun to think about stuff like that.
A neat perspective there, James, that we don't often talk about those things here. And Freeman down on strikes. Talked about a lot of that tonight for Freeman. Nothing has gone his way, and you feel like with the star caliber that he possesses, that he's due, but nothing has shown that he's getting close to that area.
He had the one single there. It was in the 5th inning, I believe, right, to lead off that inning, and it just, that's kind of been it for the Mavs leadoff guy.
Aaron Volcano back into the netting, and this is where go time needs to begin. You got Aaron Volcano, Vanesti, maybe Carter Roth in this inning. These are the 3 that you need to see make the big plays. And Riley down in the dirt there.
And at this moment you want to be aggressive, but when you've seen him now, that's the second spiked ball in the opposite batting box or beyond it even. Be aggressive, but also be a patient and, get on bases any way you can.
There again, James, right on cue. He puts one down below. And after this at-bat with Aaron Volcano, we will give you some updates from around the WCBL. Lots of playoff action going on around this great league. Is that one into right field for Aaron Volcano, the second time he's been down that neighborhood tonight.
And looking around the league, it's not just this game tonight where the lower seed is winning right now. Obviously, Regina coming in, the 3 seed up 3-1 on the Mavs. You look in the East as well. It's the number 4 seed, Moose Jaw Miller Express, up 6-3 on the Saskatoon Berries in the top of the 6. So, that's a Miller's team that we've seen a lot of here here in Medicine Hat. And, they're a gritty team. They are made for playoffs. If there's any team in this league, it feels like it's Moose Jaw and the success they find.
Here's Vanesti. He'll foul this one aside. And you speak of the Miller Express. We talked about it on the broadcast earlier this year. They are the biggest dark horse in this playoffs because last year we saw what they did to Regina. They stunned them in the first round after the regular season that the Red Sox had. And they got a guy in Thomas Soto who set the runs record and a guy in William Edwards who set the RBI record. You got 2 guys who had record-setting seasons, and we didn't even mention Austin Gurney.
Austin Gurney in his 4th season, now. Yeah, they have a good lineup. Weston Walls at the top of the line, at the pitching rotation as well, led the league in strikeouts, and they are a team that doesn't get the love because of the record, and they had some up and downs this year, but they can win when it counts, and they're doing it so far in Saskatoon.
And you don't want to get too much on the Miller Express train. We want to stay focused on this game. But Nathan Pichot, the high schooler, the affiliate player, he's arguably the Rookie of the Year this year. He has been a standout closer for them. What a story he has been in this season. Here's Vanesti. That one just missed hitting him. Tells Volcano to hang on over at first base.
And just to wrap up the rest of the league, Okotoks leading Brooks 6-1, bottom of the 4th. And Lethbridge, not sure why, a bit of a late start there in the bottom of the 1st, tied 0-0.
Yeah, they're playing the Sylvan Lake Gulls, who loaded up on bats to end the year, and we know how great their pitching is. Sylvan's a team to be messed with over in the West, but we also say that every year. The results have proven otherwise. Ooh, that one caught Castellanos. Looked like he tried to catch it with his throwing hand as Venesti's off to first and a stinger. Hopefully Castellanos is okay.
You know, you wear a lot of gear as a catcher behind the plate. You can't cover that throwing arm here, and you know that looks tough. And Tyler Venesti hit by pitch as well, and you know that's going to spark something here for the Red Sox.
2 on for the Mavericks, and a new pitcher coming into the game. It looks like it could be Aiden Page. We'll confirm that when we come back. But the night is done for Landon Riley, who was sensational. Nobody could have called for this to happen, but Riley, proving why Rogers State is a premier pitcher school. He does what his 2 teammates who left prior have done all season long. Two on, one out. A familiar situation for the Mavericks. Aaron Volcano, good speed over at second. Tyler Venesti, hit by pitch again. He's over at first. And all-star Carter Roth, a guy who had one of the best batting averages in the WCBL, a guy who is built for moments like these, has a moment in front of him. Can he push a runner through? 3-1 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Mavericks need to get it going. New pitcher in the game for the Red Sox, and he starts his day off with a strike. That's Aiden Page, the second-year Red Sox, but it's his first ever appearance in the postseason. Roth, not an easy guy to get around for any pitcher. These two have faced off before here. In one of the last matchups here at Athletic Park between these two teams, it was Page on the mound as a starter. Both going to wait on that one, and so 1-1 count. Roth, a couple of classic twirls of the bat from him here. Page, deep breath, here it comes. Roth's going to plow this one over into left field. A deep one as it heads all the way back to the back wall. Volcano will round third. He's going to come through to score. Roth in there with a double, and it is a 1-run ball game. Carter Roth proves he's built for the moment beyond the regular season.
And if you're Carter Roth, you see the first pitch down the middle. Second one comes inside. He hasn't gone outside yet with the slider, right? You're ready in that little interior zone there, and he just sends that out there to left center field, and it works. And it gets the Mavs within one here. Runners on scoring position. And, you know, as you mentioned, a guy in Carter Roth who steps up in big moments. Now you've set the table, you've set the stage for another guy who's kind of looking for his moment here in Johnny Volcano.
A rock star on and off the field. Volcano has had some premier moments throughout his Maverick career. Can he add another one to the mantle with 2 in scoring position and just 1 out? He's got Aiden Page in his headlights. Volcano a swing and a miss off speed on the first pitch. Volcano, you know he's going to be hunting fastball here. Page, glove to cheek here as he steps into his stance. Quick look back at Roth. And on the way to Volcano, he's going to pop this one up. Should be playable over in right field, and it's going to be by Jackson. Throw is going to go into first baseman James Wright, who is playing into the infield, and there's 2 outs here. Now this is where a game can change. The Mavericks, throughout this game, the theme, leaving runners on the base path, leaving runners in scoring position. One flick of the bat here from Adam Volcano dispels that entire narrative from before, and it presents a whole new ball game. Whether the ball game is tied or the Mavericks have the lead, that's the question that could be answered.
It's these little opportunities where you can make good on a night, right? And it's not that anyone's been bad in the Mavs lineup, but it's just leaving guys on. Now you can score them or, tie it, or even there is some momentum to build here from, some solid hits.
And Volcano, 2 hits already tonight, looking for a third against a new pitcher in Page. He didn't like that call, and neither did the 1,500 fans. 0-1 the count. Volcano's put the ball over into left field via the ground ball and up through center as well. His brother Aaron's put 2 into right. Volcano waits on that one, and it is going to dip down for a ball.
That's a good eye on that one, to see that one drop, and maybe he's looking fastball there and just sits back on that slider, curveball, whatever you want to call it, to drop down there and even up this count.
And good to see that he's patient with it here. I'm sure JT is smiling from cheek to cheek, knowing that Volcano is waiting for his pitch. Swing and a miss there as he goes off speed again. Volcano almost down to one knee, trying to get level with it. 1-2 count. Great place for Page. Mavericks have already gotten 1 in this inning. They need 1 more to even the score at 3. Page, quick look backwards. Roth doing some hopping around. And that pitch is just going to miss. Whew.
That's a close one to sit on for Adam Volcano, and he's seeing it well right now, right? And so, if you're Page on the mound, you've got him to swing on an off speed once. Do you go back to it? Do you go fastball here? And a couple of options for him. And if you're Adam Volcano, you've seen both. You've sat back on some and seen them well here.
Volcano, this could be the night of his life if he records a 3rd hit. This one's going to be out over to left, and a long run for Tucker. He's going to dive and make the play. So the Mavs halted once again. Defense on go for the Red Sox. This time Tucker with another beauty. And that does it for our bottom of the 7th inning. 2 more, maybe more, even more than that to play. But we'll stick to 2 for now. Red Sox a 1-run lead. The Mavs get 1 back. It's still close. And now I would like to officially thank James for coming on. This is it for him. James, we appreciate you coming.
Appreciate you, Sherman. Thank you.
Three-two ball game, new pitcher on the mound for the Mavericks. It is Ryan Harney. And the Mavericks leaving 2 runners in scoring position. Boy, it has been their kryptonite tonight, runners on the base path. And you can't often say that about any team. When runners are on the base path, usually it's a good thing. And making the official announcement of Harney here. He's going to have to face the top of the order. Raphael Jackson, who got the party started for the Red Sox with a 2-run bomb into right center. He'll be up. Zaid Brannigan will follow him. And then in the third spot, it's Matthew Fox. Could see Brady Bye, who's DHing tonight after that. And Bye's name is one of those ones when you look around the league and you look at guys who are ring-worthy. I know we did the segment a couple of weeks back, but he's a part of that conversation as well. You know, Vanesti and Gurney and Beck and Menard, those are the guys, Murdoch, those are the guys that get mentioned right off the go. Bye is one of those more underrated names, but he's very much in that conversation of, you know, due to win a ring. Ryan Harney on the mound. Stellar regular season, but this one is going to be drilled over into left center field, and it'll be maybe more than a base hit for Jackson. Long throw out, and Jackson has a double. Way to respond for the Regina Red Sox. You know, you get out of it last inning. The Mavericks leave 2 on, and Jackson leads off this inning with a hit over into left center. Bring up Zaid Brannigan. He's getting a little bit of advice over from his third base coach, and now a meeting on the mound already with Ryan Harney. They jumped on him right away. And you usually don't see this after one pitch. Nobody warming up behind Harney down there. Maybe a little bit of stretching going on. Can't quite see who that is for the Mavericks. Nobody warming up for the Red Sox. You know, Raphael Jackson, what a great season he's had. The Virgin Islands kid, going to college at Point University, at Div 2 school, 200 pounds, 6 feet, plays in the outfield, and he plays right field better than most. Zaid Brannigan coming up, and you know his mission will be to advance the runner. The goal for the Red Sox at this point, add on leads, give yourself a little bit of insurance, and here goes the bunt. Harney, quick look over, throw to first, a low one, and the play's going to be made. And an interesting move. I'm looking over at first base, and it's Carter Roth who makes the play instead of Aaron Volcano, who crept in. He knew the bunt was coming, and a key out for the Mavericks, not only to get out number 1, but keep that runner in Jackson over at second, who is a speed threat. See if they try it again here with Fox. You don't want to take the bat out of the hands of a guy like Fox, but at this point in the game, maybe you do. This one fouled the side. Back to the netting. And I was talking to Harney and Danny Retzlaff pregame, and Danny Retzlaff says, I like that you like my glove on the mound. And I said, yeah, you know, yours is great. Ryan Harney's is right up there as well. That blue glistening glove, especially in the night sky, is such a nice touch. Harney, long look over at Jackson, who's waddling side to side, a little chopper, and Roth isn't going to make the play. He called off Volcano, scooped to first, and a disastrous outcome here. Really the first mental blunder of the game for the Mavericks, as Roth had called for it, wasn't able to make the play, and runners will now be on the corners for the Red Sox. And this is not typical Ryan Harney on the mound right now. We've seen him go 1, 2, 3 quite a few times during his Mavericks tenure. Now he's got to see Brady Bye. Brady Bye hit a home run out here earlier in the year. A home run here. Oh, would that open things up for Regina? First pitch is going to miss from Harney. In a dream scenario here for the Mavericks, you get what Regina's gotten all game long, and that's a double play up the middle. But that's also wishful thinking. Here comes the pitch from Harney, and a swing and a foul off there from Bye. Waiting right behind Bye is James Wright, who has given Regina the 1-run lead. It was a 2-run lead when he hit it out. It was the night for Luis Diaz. 2 home runs given up for a guy who doesn't give up a lot of runs in general, but you think you only give up 3 runs in a game as a starter, you like your chances in winning a ball game. 1-1 count here. Runner's going to go. King is not going to throw, and so the double play is out of effect. 2 in scoring position now for Regina. And it feels like the game could be hanging in the balance here for the Mavericks. Harney, lean over. Bye. A long-standing member of the Red Sox will foul this one off. You know, he's just been chomping at the bit to get a moment like this. Boy, could this moment cap off this game potentially. Chance to give the Red Sox a 3-run lead here in the top of the 8th inning. I'm sure he likes the sound of that. Harney. Here comes the pitch, and it's fouled off again. By proving to be a nightmare at the plate. Brady Baya, former attendee of the Martin Collegiate Sports Academy in Regina. Lots of these Red Sox members have done that, and that is pounded over into center field. Brady Bye, have yourself a moment as a run comes in to score. It's now a 2-run Regina lead, and that's big time from a big-time player. Talk about his ties to Regina, and that kid just delivered one. So Harney, not known for having long innings like this one. He's in the thick of it right now. Just the 1 out. Runners are on the corners. Regina looking to push more through here. It'll be James Wright who hit one out his last time around. James Wright could have a legacy night here. And boy, there wouldn't be a better time to do it. Wright is going to swing and miss there. The off speed fooling him a little bit. Still makes contact. You know, for Ryan Harney, he wasn't a part of this Mavericks roster all season long. You know, out of Mid-America Christian, was called about halfway through the year to come up and help the Mavs out. And boy, has he been a blessing. Here's the pitch from Harney, and ooh, that was ultra close. Paper-thin margins on the edge. Count 1-1 now. Good patience there from Wright. He knows the off speed is coming. He's just got to try and lay off of it as best he can. Harney. Little sidearm action. That one drilled over the glove of Vanesti, and it is a 3-run Red Sox lead. You knew the big inning was going to come at some point, and it comes in the form of a response from last. 1 run for the Mavericks in the bottom of the 7th, and Regina comes back with 3 of their own to match. Ian Montz will come to the plate. Rai Pathakis yelling out orders. There's a pinch runner in. Red Sox looking to put away this game. And JT is going to come up to the mound and have a conversation with Ryan Harney, whose playoff debut has not gone how he would have drawn it up. And while there's a conversation on the mound, I think it's time to take a look around the league at a couple of players who have claimed rings over the last couple of years. We've heard a lot of ring talk recently, and Ryan Harney's day is actually done as he's coming off the mound. So there'll be a new pitcher in for the Mavericks who try and hold on to whatever's left of game 1 here. Them trailing by 3. But back to what we were talking about with big rings. Most of the players on this list, Okotoks Dogs. Connor Croson hit the big homer last year to cap off the three-peat for the Okotoks Dogs and claim what was yet a 3rd ring for him. Barry Eisman got his first last year as a result. Logan Grant, he's got 2 rings of his own, originally with the Swift Current 57s, came to the Okotoks Dogs, and he's won championships ever since. Eric Matchy, as you see down below, he's got a couple of rings as well to himself. And, you know, the Okotoks Dogs are pictured on this for a reason. They just got a lot of players. And outside of the Dogs and the Lethbridge Bulls, who won in 21, there aren't a lot of guys who have captured a championship. Levi Abbott was an affiliate player on the Bulls roster, didn't pitch in any playoff games, but he was on the roster, so we're considering, for the purposes of this graphic, that he's a ring winner. And Hayden Newton was on that team and did pitch, so he's got a legit ring in this league. And he's one of the very few Bulls players left who have the title of WCBL champion. So that's what it looks like around the league and some of the players who have won big. New pitcher on the mound here, and it is Tyler Cutler. Cutler, we spoke about Harney as a new addition. Cutler, the exact same. He looked really good in his last outing, despite his team not being able to overcome the Berries. He was sharp. Cutler, good buddies with Carter Roth, a part of the reason that he managed to get his way up here, along with being a really good ball player and an elite pitcher. Mavs holding tight here. 3 runs isn't an insurmountable comeback, but it's not something that's promising. And for a team that's done so well at home so often this season, it's interesting to see this sort of game unfolding. Once again, apologize for the delays on the scorebug update. It's hard. I'm managing 3 different computers at once. Trying to manage 3 different people here as Tyler Cutler 2 on, and of course Ian Montz right ahead of him. Montz a swing and a miss, and a luxury here for the Mavericks is that Regina has not seen Tyler Cutler yet. Can't let any more across. That's how the Mavs have to be feeling here. Cutler. A triple check, and now here comes the pitch. Montz a swing and a miss. He swings at the first 2 from Tyler. Tyler, I believe, was playing in the Corn Belt League prior to this. And in the words of Coach JT, he was mowing down batters in that league. See if he can continue that trend here. He's got an 0-2 count. Bouncer down low. Good job by King to field it. You know, if you're Regina in the driver's seat, things look pretty right now. You get to go back home with a chance to finally slay the dragon, not only within the first round, but within playing the Mavericks in the playoffs. Ooh, a bouncer, and that one's going to hit Montz. That is not what you want to see if you're Tyler Cutler. A freebie to Montz. Back to what I was mentioning about the Red Sox. Things couldn't be better in Regina land right now. Bases loaded, a chance to get a couple more through and lock down this game. Have things in the driver's seat going back to your barn. Slay a couple of dragons along the way. You never know with this Red Sox squad. With what we saw unfolding, of course, in the Berries and Miller Express game earlier tonight, you could have a rematch of last year's series, looking for revenge in that as well. It's now 6-3 Miller Express in that game. King is going to trudge out. Make sure that all runners are staying put. Still 0-0 in Lethbridge and Sylvan Lake. That game's still in the bottom of the first. You know, James alluded to it earlier. We're not sure exactly what's happening with that game. Looks like it's on pause for now. Here's Cutler. Ooh, that one had King falling backwards in the recliner. He's going to make the catch. 2-0 here. It was such a great start for Cutler. Is tilted sideways. Long wait. Here comes the throw from Cutler. He's going to spike it again, and the control is off. Threatening to walk in a run here is Cutler. From what was a tight game, it seemed like the Mavs have been holding on for dear life the entire time. They haven't been able to put the exclamation point on any innings, and Regina has. There's a strike from Cutler. Not a fan of that was Samard. He felt like he should have been taking first, and his team should have been taking a 4-run lead. Long stare here from Cutler. And a low one that didn't even hardly make it to the plate. So a run is walked in here. And if you thought things were unraveling before, and unraveling that I don't think the Mavericks have seen from themselves this year taking place. Such similar themes to 2024 in this game. Feels like in game 1 they just couldn't quite pull away from the Berries. It was too close at too many different points, and in game 3 for that matter. And they're in the same spot here. They've never even had the lead in this game. Kept it tight, but it felt like it was a couple of cities lengths long. Cutler down the stripe. That's strike one. Gets a cheer from the fans. There's still lots who have stuck around here. But it is 4 runs that the Mavericks will need to find. Boy, it would, at this point, you could call it a comeback for the ages if they're able to do so over the next 2. Volcano, great play over to second, to first, and there's a double play. Maybe that's where it starts as the Mavs get out of a bases-loaded jam after giving up 3 in the top half of the 8th inning. Is that the spark that they needed, or do Regina just have this one in the palms of their hands? We'll see if they let it go or if they clutch a little harder. We will be back with the bottom of the 8th inning, but before we leave you, I want to take a quick look at, of course, our universities and community segment. And today, the community is Frisco, Texas, home to Jensen Cockrell, Mavericks reliever who came in. Speaking of players that have come in, a little way through the season, Cockrell, one of those. Frisco designated as the Tree City. So you got the Gas City here in Medicine Hat, the Tree City down in Texas. It was the fastest growing city in 2017. Of course, that's in the United States, not in the entire world. Population is just over 200,000. It is home of the National Video Game Museum. I'm not sure if Jensen is a gamer himself, but he is a gamer when he gets onto the mound, and we've seen that a couple of times this year. FC Dallas, the MLS team, plays at Toyota Stadium, which is in Frisco, and Frisco, Texas, the birthplace of Dude Perfect. If you're not aware of who they are one of the biggest YouTube channels, and they are 5 best friends who do pretty much extreme sports and trick shots. So a little bit of extra information on Dude Perfect there, and of course, some extra information on Frisco, Texas. We will be back to a place that's a long way from Texas in just a few for the bottom of the 8th. Evan Morrison started his night off right with a base hit into left. It's been a difficult one ever since, but he returns here in the bottom of the 8th inning with his team needing runs. They trail by 4 at home in Game 1 of the WCBL playoffs in this East Division battle between the Regina Red Sox and Medicine Hat Mavericks. This one popped up towards Matthew Fox. Should be playable, and it is. There's out number 1. Only took 1 pitch from Page. Page will take a gander around the outside of the mound, and walking up right ahead of him is Nate King. Already 1 out. That's what you need if you're the Red Sox. Quick outs. Don't allow yourselves to overthink it. Make this a quiet exit here on this Wednesday evening. Page sends that one down low. Kicked up a little dirt at the end, and guy that always has a little dirt on his boots, at least his walk-up song suggests so, is Nate King. Page, he gunned that one and it misses down low. King back into it here. Favorable count at 2-0. His goal, find a way to get on and hope that his teammates follow. King labeled with a strike there as Page gets reacquainted with the strike zone. Wouldn't this be something if the 2 lower seeds won their first round matchups? King gonna dribble this one over to third. Samard playable to first. There's out number 2. We're seeing an unprecedented change within the leaders of the WCBL, with the Berries being down late in their game and the Mavericks being down late within this one. Berries You know, they're starting on a little bit of a comeback route here. It's now 6-4 in that ball game. Keeping a close eye on that one, specifically for this division. Micah Dvorak will come up. So Regina will have to get through the top of the Mavericks order one more time. Question is, will it be with 2 outs or will it be in the bottom of the 9th inning? We haven't seen a lot of bottom of the 9ths this year. That suggests that the Mavericks have won a lot at home, which they have. Dvorak shields that aside. Not able to get to the fastball there. You know, you look at teams that are slumping at the wrong time, and that might just be the Mavericks. Of course, the regular season doesn't carry over to the playoffs, but if they lose here tonight, which the score suggests they just might, it would be 5 consecutive losses. Dvorak, 1-1 count here with 2 outs. Just nothing going offensively for Medicine Hat. Dvorak will wait on that one. It was outside. Lethbridge and Sylvan Lake, just an update for those of you who may be tuning in from that game, welcome. And for those of you who are not aware of what's happened in that game, it's officially been canceled. So they will have to play another day. I think the weather isn't too great out in the Lethbridge parts. That game actually in Sylvan, so I guess in the Sylvan parts. But I think Lethbridge had some bad weather today as well. Medicine Hat on the sunny side of things. Of course, sometimes known by many as the Sun City. 3-1 count here to Dvorak. Page will get ready to go. I don't think he's noticed that Dvorak has stepped out. And now he relaxes his shoulders and waits for Micah to lead back in. Behind Micah is Jeremy Freeman Jr., who's had a tough playoff debut. I don't believe he even has he has 1 hit tonight, just that one up through center field. And boy, could he use one here with Micah Dvorak getting on. So with the Mavericks left fielder on, it'll be their center fielder who comes up to the plate. And, you know, Freeman relishes the moments. It's a chance to create maybe a moment for his team here if he's able to get Dvorak around, put something in deep, and put a couple of runners back into scoring position for Aaron Volcano, who sits behind. Or will this be another shutdown inning for the Red Sox? We'll have to see. Page looking to do just that. First pitch is going to be down low. Nobody warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. There is an arm warming up for the Mavericks. I believe it is Diego Centella. You know, talked to Diego today, and he said he thought that there was a chance that he would go tomorrow instead of today. Maybe there's a world where he goes in both, depending on how much he pitches. Freeman, a wild swing and a miss. That ball wasn't close. Freeman's had such a spectacular season. Batting over 300. One of the best base stealers in the WCBL. And pitchers haven't figured him out, but the Regina staff has tonight. And there's a strike. Freeman doesn't like it. Page. Quick shoulder check to first. And Freeman, did he go? They're going to check on it. He did not. It was awfully close. Freeman had dipped all the way down. He's able to lay off. Ooh, I went up high as Freeman leans back, and it's a full count. You know, Freeman can work a walk here. Makes things a little bit interesting with 2 on, and Aaron Volcano's hit the ball well tonight. There's always a possibility for a little bit more. Page. Freeman, a swing and a miss. Big time from Aiden Page. Another stranded for the Mavs. I'm not sure what your bingo card looks like at home, But if you got a dabber, it's probably filled up all the spots. It has been one of those nights for the Mavericks. Nothing working in the batter's box and a lot being left on the base path. So we will step away and come back with our 9th inning. Tyler Cutler back on the mound for now for the Mavericks. Can he have a shutdown inning and maybe provide a little bit of hope for the Mavs? It's slipping away and it's almost out of reach. So Tyler Cutler will get another inning of work here. He finished off the last as Ryan Harney couldn't exit. And in that inning, Harney surrendering 3. Cutler got out of a bases-loaded jam, hitting a double play ball on the ground. It seemed like there was maybe a little flicker of momentum for the Mavericks, but that was soon drifted away by the arm of Aiden Page. Shut down in the last, and he gets Freeman to strike out for another time in this game. An eerie feeling here at Athletic Park. Fans have not been making a lot of noise in a while, and large in part due to that the Mavericks have been frozen here. It's just one of those nights where things don't click. Cutler had a tough time hitting the strike zone here. That's 3 consecutive balls. To start his night, he was right around the strike zone. He's getting some good swings in his first matchup with Ian Montz. And since then, each Regina hitter's just been waiting, and nabbing that one there is Cutler. I think that's one thing that served Regina well. They haven't rushed things tonight. In their doubleheader when they were in town, lots of big swings right off the hop. This one hopping into the glove of Roth. That'll be out number 1. But tonight they've waited back. They've looked for their pitches, and then they've driven them into deep parts of the park. Jackson going long, Wright going long. Brady Bye with the big hit into center field. Although it only scored run, it sparked a rally, and they got to Ryan Harney, which probably was not on the game plan for Regina. As much as you want to say, okay, we should get to one of the league's best relievers. It's not something that you go, this happens all the time. Here's going to be a ground ball. Hopper over to Roth. That'll be out number 2. He's had a busy inning so far. 2 away here for the Mavs. Mavs will have Aaron Volcano, Tyler Vanesti, and Carter Roth. They're 2, 3, 4 hitters up, and if this was a 1-run ball game, you like their odds. You still like their odds to maybe load up the bases with those 3, but Regina hasn't made it easy, and neither is Aiden Page, who will be coming out to finish this game. Cutler, that one caught up in the paraphernalia of Nate King behind the plate. Still warming up down there is Diego Centella, and a sprint out to the mound here from King. He'll coordinate things with Cutler. Give him a little tap on the side. King, known as an elite game manager by many around the Mavericks clubhouse. Pitchers love how he calls the game. They love the confidence that he gives all of his arms up on the mound. King couldn't pull that one down. That's ball number 2. Brannigan, he's going to play this one into center field. You can see Roth signaling as that one flew over his head. So it'll be a base hit for Zaid Brannigan. Matthew Fox. Talked a lot about him today and how good his bat is, but he's played great at short today as well. He's been a huge component in organizing a couple of these double plays that the Red Sox have seen. And looking back to those early on in the game, not only is it the Mavs not being effective in scoring runs, but it's been the great work defensively of the Red Sox to double up on some of those runners. 2 outs here for Cutler with 1 on. He's behind in this count. It's 1-0. The hits have gotten closer and closer as this game's gone on. It's now 11 for the Mavs and 10 for Regina. At one point in this game, I believe it was 9-2. Cutler checking his rear view mirror over towards first base. Runner going to go, and this one's going to be hit along the green grass. Vanesti fields it, and that is out number 3. So Brannigan moving across does not result in anything more, and that will be 3 outs for the Mavericks. They got 3 lives left in the form of outs in this game. Of course, they'll still have another day tomorrow, but can they maybe play stunner late in this one? It'll take a bit of a miracle, as they will see Aiden Page, the 2-3-4 hitters, coming up for Medicine Hat. One last breath for the Mavericks here in the bottom of the 9th inning. They trail 6-2. It's been all Regina so far tonight. Defensively, on the mound, with the bat in hand, doesn't matter. They have lived up to the expectations of being a playoff team and a team that can wreak some havoc. They've done so. And against all odds, too. We talked about it at the start. We brought it up a lot. They don't have all the bodies that they were supposed to have. They've dealt well regardless. This one going to be a grounder from Volcano that'll go foul. And for the Mavericks here, in a similar spot, but specifically in this game. Not that they don't have all their bodies, but, they've been dealt a hand that is not favorable at this moment in time. Can they flip the odds here, flip the script, and can it start with Aaron Volcano? 0-1 count. Page is going to hurl this one in, and it's up high. Page has had himself quite a strong night on the mound. Great turnover from Landon Riley to Aiden Page. Swing and a miss there from Volcano as that dips under his bat. When we saw Page here originally, he didn't give up a whole lot. He just had to face Xander Roberts in that game, and Roberts had a shutout 7-inning game, and that obviously resulted in the Mavericks getting the win. There's a high one to Volcano. He won't chase. 2-2 here, too. The Mavericks' first baseman, at least for tonight. Can also see him out in right field at times. Swing and a miss, and there goes Aaron Volcano. What a relief performance it has been for Aiden Page. Another strikeout to his name. That card is looking superb. If there's a guy to start a rally, it is Tyler Vanesti. Heart and soul of this Mavericks team. His baseball days are counting down, at least as a Maverick. You have one last push in him here. Maybe be the starter for a rally. It's going to be tough against Page. This one stung into right field. Going to take a long roll. Vanesti's going to park over at first base. A little bit of a bobble there in right by Jackson. But a single and a hard clap of the hands there from Vanesti as he knows how important that is. And And we've seen this combination already work in this game. Venesti to Roth. Can they get it going one more time here when they need it most? Waiting behind Roth is Johnny Volcano. Adam Volcano will follow him, and then if we get to the point of Evan Morrison, things will be really interesting, but we won't look that far ahead. Roth. First pitch is going to be a strike from Page. He doesn't offer. Roth, did he go? They are going to say that he did. Roth is arguing, or I don't know if he's arguing, but he's staring down the umpire as if to say he didn't believe that he had gone. Count is 0-2. See how quickly Page wants to get rid of Roth. Here comes the throw. Ooh, a survival swing there from Roth. Spun him in a circle. Roth will step out as the ball boys do clean up behind him. Still a nasty looking count here for Roth at 0-2. High one to Carter. 1-2. Page, look over to Samard. And Roth will not swing. Count is 2-2. Page. Quick look over at Venesti, but he's not paying much attention. Roth, a swing and a miss and a rare strikeout for the Mavs 4-hole hitter. So you can see many fans leave their seats now. There's 2 outs. Johnny Volcano will come to the plate. But with the Mavs down by 4 runs and down to their final out, things are looking gloomy. Page hunting for one more out on the mound. He's got Venesti behind him, but he's only worried about getting Johnny Volcano. That pitch is going to be low. Good play by Castellanos, who, once again, have to note, sensational night behind the plate from him. He has gotten everything, used every part of his body, and there are many times that there could have been a few passed balls in this game, and Castellanos has hammered the door shut. 1-0 here to Volcano. Swing and a miss. That pitch on the outer half from Page has been delightful for him. Page back onto the rubber. Volcano, quick check over into left field. Maybe that's the spot where he wants to drive it. Venesti still over at first. But the Mavs' biggest hill to climb are the 2 outs, as now they're down to their final strike. Regina, 1 strike away from taking game 1 and looking to head back home and take the series. Page, does he have one more bullet left in the chamber? Into the glove he goes. Runner not being held on. Venesti jumping ahead. He's going to go. Volcano plays this one over to Fox. Fox to first. That'll do it. The Regina Red Sox take game 1 by a score of 6-2 on the road at Athletic Park. And a shocker for the Mavs, who had such a successful regular season, and they will be playing for their playoff lives and season lives tomorrow in Regina. Could not draw it up any better if you're the Red Sox. They used 2 pitchers all game long. Landon Riley with a gem to start, Aiden Page with a gem to finish. And the Mavs not able to match the elite arms that Regina presented. So, we're not sure if we'll be back this year, but we would like to welcome you into Mavs postgame. And I say we, just me for tonight. not what the Mavericks would have drawn up, and I think a lot of predictors out there or people around the league might not have predicted this one either. Regina has all the odds stacked against them. We've talked about it extensively throughout this show. They're the lower seed. They were almost a 500 team, and we've seen the results in years past. And not being able to close out series has been another thing that has stood in their way. But right now, they're in the driver's seat. They get to go home, and they put a valiant effort tonight, and all their stars showed. Brady Bye with a big moment with the single into center. Raphael Jackson goes yard. How about Daniel Castellanos behind the plate? So shifty tonight. Matthew Fox had a couple of hits. The stars were aligned for the Red Sox tonight, and it was not luck. It was the names that you know, and for Red Sox fans, the names that you know and love, putting on their best when it mattered most. And for the Mavericks, they didn't really see that at times. Tyler Vanesti had a couple of big plays. Carter Roth had a hit here or there. But it was Adam Volcano who really had the big night for the Mavs. He tried to get them started a couple of times, but, things just shut off quickly. And so for Medicine Hat, there's going to be a little bit of searching, but not a lot of time to do so, as they got to turn it around quickly as they turn their attention to a new location over in Regina. Mitchell Field, the home for game number 2, as Regina looks to take it home at home and end the Maverick season. Of the Mavs look to live another day. We saw this last year when the Saskatoon Berries came into town and took game 1. It took a gargantuan performance from Josh Landry, 12 Ks, among the most in Mavericks history within a game from a pitcher. And that brought the game back here, in which the Berries did end up wrapping it up. But it is going to take an effort like that tomorrow. Maybe not 12 Ks worthy, but it will need to be the best for the Mavericks. We will see if that indeed comes true, or if it is Regina's time to finally get over the hump. That does it from Athletic Park tonight. And if this is it for the season, I would like to thank all of you for tuning in all season long. This has been fun to do. This has been a fun team to follow. And it's been fun to do it with Wayne Slosher, who's not here tonight, as I said. But it's been a pleasure working with him all these years, and a pleasure being able to tell not only the story of the Mavericks throughout the season, but the story of such a great league in the WCBL. That does it tonight, and that will wrap it up for this one. And I guess we're not sure if we will see another one, but we still can't wait to see what the next one brings, whether it's here from Athletic Park or elsewhere. Take care, everyone, and that does it for Game 1. Red Sox win 6-2.